No clue. I don't even know if I'm live on my own show. Watch, I'm live on Thunderstash, but not me.
Well, yeah. Let's see. It's funny. I pulled yours up so I could go into your chat because I like to pull up your chat.
But there isn't a chat.
Exactly. So let me.
Oh, hey, yeah. Wait, no. Now we're upcoming. Wait, what is going on? Are we live on the back end of YouTube? Are we just live on Twitch right now, but not YouTube? So do I have to hit go live now for it to create it?
It's showing I'm live.
Yeah, you're live. I'm not. Oh, wait, now I am live. Wait, what is happening?
This is fun.
Dude, what is this thing doing? Hi, everyone that sees us live.
As I'm struggling with my chair.
I don't know what's happening, guys. Can I just be honest? Look, we can't schedule streams anymore, guys.
Yeah.
It says you're live now. I just got a notification.
I'm live now. So I can't set up podcasts ahead of time anymore.
This is fun.
I'm gonna have to reach out to customer support or something, see what the hell's going on. Well, we're live, so I guess that's all that really matters. Hi, guys. The show has not begun. You'll know it begins when I drop the intro.
Yeah.
But hey, we are live, so that's important. According to YouTube, we are not a podcast. I'm gonna go fix that. See, this is all stuff that usually gets fixed like way earlier in the day, but for some reason I scheduled and it didn't create it. So hi.
Yeah.
Welcome to the false start of the podcast. We'll be editing. I'll do YouTube editing after they'll edit this all out for us. I have to go over here. Are we even monetized? I don't even know what the hell's going on. No, we are. Okay, I fixed that part. Playlist. Hey, see, we got to be a podcast. See, now, as of now, when I hit that button, we are now officially a podcast on YouTube. Oh, man. I should get the chat up. I don't know what the hell's going on, guys. How you doing? How's the chat doing? We're going to pop the intro here in a moment once we make sure everything's good. I think we're live on everything right now. Sorry you guys couldn't come to the stream sooner. YouTube's being weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it won't let me schedule podcasts right now. And it doesn't matter if I use StreamYard, Restream, or that other one I was using. I don't know. Something's going on. Well, hi guys. This is the crew, by the way. Mm-hmm. I guess we'll just pop the intro and pretend this never happened.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You stop by for the Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing peaches until the sun lights. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast, episode 17. And boy, oh boy, things just keep piling up for like directs and Switch 2 and just weird things. I don't really know what's going on. We got a direct out of nowhere. So we'll probably be talking about that today. Look, it's going to be kind of a crazy thing. And let's just go around the room and just introduce ourselves. Only a 4-pack today. There was a couple other guests, but they have some things going on in their lives that I hope turn around. I hope everything's going better for you guys next week. But let's go ahead and introduce everyone. We got Eric Moore.
Hello.
And you can kind of see me right here. Hi. Except when his camera freezes.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Hey, we can't do anything about Eric's camera freezes. We're very limited in our cameras over here right now. I'm planning to take care of it. Payday. Gotta get the payday. Then we got Thunderstash Gaming.
What's up, guys?
Heck yeah. And then back again, John Ebo.
Everybody else knew I was going to be on. And they're like, yeah, I don't like that guy. So
yeah, I don't like that guy. we can't schedule podcasts the week that John Nebo's on. Yeah. Usually we have 100 people waiting. And it's like, no, we don't even have 100 people watching yet. It is what it is. All right. So we got our topic roulette coming up here. I will obviously just go first because I'll take 2 of the topics because we don't have 4 hosts right now. We actually only have 3. Andres Restart is still tagged out. There's actually a positive update about what's going on with him, but I'm not allowed to give it because it's his news to give. But still, he's still going to be off the show for a little bit while he's sorting it all out. that being said, let's go ahead and look at God, what topic do I want? You know what? I will take the one that requires the most context. But I don't know if this should be the first topic to go, but I'll take it because I didn't put a lot of context in the notes. Switch 2. Wait, it's about to be revealed next month?
Oh boy.
Woo! Question mark?
Question
I
mark.
should have said that as a question, but whatever. That's the topic I'm taking. Thunderstash, why don't you go next?
I'll take dealer's choice for you guys.
Here we go.
Hell
Dealer's
yeah.
choice. So surprise topic.
I came up with one. We're good.
Oh, all right.
Hell yeah.
Again, of course. Thunderstash is always good. But when I can't come up with topics, I just reach out. Half hour later, he's got like 17 of them. And I'm like, all right, well, geez. Let's see here. Let's go to Eric then. Which one are you taking?
Let's go with the Nintendo Museum Direct, even though I didn't watch it.
Hey,
Badass.
you'll get to see it for the first
Yeah.
time on this show live.
Hell yeah.
Live, baby.
Woo!
That's how we do it around here. Then I guess I get to take the topic after that. It would actually kind of make sense to follow the museum one. Another Nintendo Direct this month?
Yeah.
Probably just not liking it.
The funny thing is, like, outside of like the museum thing on its own, I don't know. They're all kind of related, but it's all right. I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I took the Switch 2. Wait, it's about to be revealed. Last week on the show we talked about the possibility of it getting revealed soon or when it might be revealed, and we didn't really have anything concrete. There was just a reporter out there, Pedro Henrique Ludalipa, otherwise known as PH Brazil online, and he had a podcast where he indicated it would be one of the last podcasts before Switch 2 news would come out. He is a Brazilian reporter, worked at a whole bunch of big outlets. He's a gaming journalist. He's gone independent over the last year, which is why you've heard from him a bit more. But what's interesting is in there, he noted that some presentations from September have been moved up to this month. Why? I don't know. Okay, now that's just what he said. We didn't know, right? Kind of a rumor. Well, then Nintendo went ahead and did that Nintendo Museum Direct. Well, that's one presentation. And then he came out and said there's more presentations coming, just to clarify that he did mean more than one, and he said it originally more than one. So there's something else happening, supposedly. And if that happens, again, as I said, all these topics are related. If that happens, then it's going to make you think, well, geez, is he then right about the Switch 2 stuff, which he indicated we would have actual news on somewhat soon, aka revealed this year, maybe even September, because why else would Nintendo move things from September to the end of August? So Switch 2 might be getting revealed in September. That's kind of, if he's correct, if everything's starting to line up ever since that Museum Direct, it's starting to line up that he might be right. And if he's right, it could be revealed next month. So what I want to ask you all is, well, do you buy it? Let's start with that. And then 2, even if you don't buy it, how excited would you be if it was happening? Literally, it could be 4 weeks from now.
September's in a week and a half.
Evo's gonna blast away. Do you believe it?
Do I believe it? Yes, I want to believe it. I want to believe it. I think the timing lines up with what the original Nintendo Switch was. I think they
It's like a
showed
month sooner. Yeah.
Yeah, they showed the teaser in October.
Yep.
And then everything was in January. So I think it lines up. If I'll be excited, honestly, I'm so sick of these. I'm so sick of rumors. I'm so sick of not knowing anything. So yeah, I'll be excited
channels
for
like
it to
me,
actually. What?
So you hate channels like mine.
Yeah, I see every day Nintendo Prime, Nintendo Switch 2 coming out.
You're all dude. You have the multiple accounts making all the negative comments. I got it.
Yeah, that's all I do all day. What else would I do?
Yeah.
But
All right.
no, I think everybody is just sitting on their thumbs waiting for this thing to actually be revealed.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about I've been talking about Switch 2 pretty much since I would say the end of 2022, or about the middle of 2022, when that NVIDIA leak happened. That happened that summer. That's really what got the ball rolling with Switch 2 talk, because the leak was confirmed by NVIDIA. So it was a legit, like, it's real. NVIDIA got hacked and had a huge leak. And in that leak was this listing of NVN2, notably one of the code names behind the chip being used on the Switch was NVN. So it really got people talking about the Switch 2, but there really wasn't a ton of information. Eventually, we figured out that maybe it might be this T239 chip, and that seems more solid today than it did back then. So then, got into 2023, and the talks just kept increasing and kept increasing. Dev units were supposedly sent out in like July of 2023. Then we had leaks from Gamescom, where Nintendo did have a private booth there where you could play Mario Wonder for media, but also apparently they were showing off demos for the Switch 2. Now, Nintendo kind of publicly denied some of that stuff. They didn't deny the entirety of it. If you actually go back to Furukawa's wording, he didn't deny all of it, but he denied, basically what people were treating it as. They were acting like it was something that it wasn't, yada, yada. I don't know. Anyways, that's all in the past. Then we get to obviously this year, and look, Nintendo just straight up told us they're saying something about the Nintendo Switch successor before the end of the fiscal year was ended in March. So Nintendo's now admitting the thing exists, and they're going to talk about it eventually here, sometime this fiscal year. So sometime in the next 7 months, Nintendo will talk about it regardless of rumors. And now, obviously, as we get closer to the end of the year, the talks are picking up again. Hey, devs are hearing things. Things could be revealed in 2024. And the number one argument I probably against has probably been like, oh, it'll hurt holiday sales. Like, that's the only thing I keep hearing. Everyone who says it's not happening this year, oh, they don't want to hurt holiday sales. Oh, they don't want to hurt holiday sales. Oh, they don't want to hurt holiday sales.
How would I know who's still buying a Nintendo Switch at this point besides collectors? Like, I know a lot of people, like I have 6 and I'm getting a 7th one.
Dude,
I know collectors are doing it, but who else is buying one?
Yeah, like people that are new.
The Zelda Switch Lite's going to sell out. I ain't worried about that. That's going to sell.
But I mean, even if they don't have them, say it's like a parent buying it for their kid, they're not going to care that a Nintendo Switch 2 is revealed. Like, they're still going to buy Switch Lite for, little Timmy or
little Timmy.
They're going to buy it anyway. They don't care.
That's what I've been saying too. I think we've all been saying that on this podcast week after week, that's the thing is they're still going to be buying this for kids, man. That's not going to change anything. And I don't think parents are going to be upset. And in fact, parents would probably rather buy into the Switch 1 because then you can get cheaper games.
Look, as a dad, I'll tell you right now, I'm buying my kids no launch day $400 system with a $70 launch game. So I'm spending $500 with taxes. Oh, and by the way, then they might want the controller to play it on the TV. So now I'm spending $600 like, as a parent, I ain't doing that. I'll buy them the $200 Switch Lite.
If that $500 rumor is correct, like, there's no way. There's
that
no
was
way.
the top end.
I'm not buying that.
But the only way I'd buy
rumor.
It would have like if a $500 price existed, like that better be like a 2 terabyte system or something. Like they better make it actually worthwhile and with an OLED screen.
And it's 3D too.
Yeah, the glasses free 3D in there. It also makes me pancakes and bacon every morning.
Right.
Not because it overheats, by the way. We don't want to be cooking on the screen. But no, I do think that right now we're in like this flux situation because Nintendo told us that they're going to say something. And so now every time they have an event, they got to keep putting that disclaimer on it, right? Like in June, hey, there will be no Switch successor news or games or anything in this direct. Hey, we have a Nintendo Museum direct. No one would expect us to show Switch 2 here. Oh, hey, there will be no news on the Nintendo Switch successor here or any like news on games. Actually, they technically said there would be no games. And it's kind of funny because like most of the presentation was showing games technically, but obviously we know they meant like not showing off new games. And in that direct museum, if you pay attention, there's a few things that could indicate they're hiding Switch 2 material in the museum with clever camera cuts. And there's a whole section behind the Nintendo Switch that's like blanked off because you can see all the big controllers in the area. And there's a section behind Switch, which would be where the next system would be, but there's nothing there yet. I'm not saying, by the way, that
where's the giant controller? Where's the giant controller?
Yeah, this is all conspiracy theory. right? That's what it all is because the museum's not open yet.
Well, yeah. When's it open? October 2nd?
And here's the thing. If they are going to have anything in there out the gate for the next system, you got to reveal it before October 2nd.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, that might get people to come to the museum because you could get a sneak peek of Nintendo's next system.
Oh, maybe you get to play it. Oh,
Book my flight now.
Imagine they had a fucking demo in there. A demo for the new Mario game or something. Oh, because they have this thing where they show the graphics over the years, and conveniently they get past like Mario Odyssey on Switch, and there's like another slot. But every single time the camera pans, Miyamoto walks right in front of where that spot is. It's like, oh shit, is that an image for the new Mario game? And they're just clever camera cutting so you can't see it.
Probably.
Again, it's a lot of conspiracy theories, but it happens a lot. Like when we play it, when we get to that section, we play it. Pay attention to how like clever the camera angles and how they cut things. So specifically, any possible shot of showing anything after Switch, there's always something in the way.
Cool. Interested to see that.
And again, it is a conspiracy theory because maybe there's just nothing there. But
they really don't need to reveal the Switch 2 with all this free marketing everybody's giving it already.
Well, I mean, look, if it's not called Switch 2, and then this marketing is irrelevant. They need a name out there.
It's just the Nintendo Switch successor. That's what they call it. God damn it!
I mean, at this point, everybody call
that would be so Nintendo. Just call the Nintendo Switch successor. Rolls off the tongue.
At this point, everybody's calling it the Switch 2 anyway, so why not just call it the Switch 2?
I agree.
Watch
It's not be cute.
What if they
Call
just
it
switch the Switch name? They just don't even use Switch.
Ugh.
The Wii U 2.
Just look, obviously, I think all of us would love for this thing to be revealed this month, let alone next month, right? The sooner the better. It'd be great to get it out there. I don't really worry so much about the holiday sales. I've talked about it several times that, like, look, Nintendo's already publicly talking about the successor. They just did it again when we had the Museum Direct. Here's your public disclaimer from Nintendo of America, right out in the open. They're not hiding that a successor is coming. So, like, you might go, well, the general public doesn't know. You're right. The general public who doesn't, follow Nintendo, like, really closely, follow them on social media. Yeah, they don't know. But you know what they also might not know? If a reveal trailer was dropped. Because where is the reveal trailer dropped? In the exact same places that we're seeing the Nintendo Switch successor be talked about. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. And if you're not following Nintendo socials, you might not see said trailer for a new thing. I don't really think like the general populace becomes aware of something until we start getting commercials and ads for it. Because then it pops up on Amazon when you're watching shows. Pops up in any YouTube video you're watching. It pops up on TikTok while you're scrolling. There'll be ads. Like until Nintendo starts, movie theaters, like until Nintendo starts actually marketing it to the general populace, I don't really think teaser trailer is going to hurt anything. Because the only people that will know about it are the people that already know about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch 2, whatever it launches with, is going to sell out. Like, there's no... The diehard Nintendo fans are going to buy it all out anyway. So they don't really have to worry about the general public until, that first holiday or even the next year.
Yeah. Man... Look, people have seen it in my videos. I actually think Brazil's pretty fucking legit. Like, if you actually want to really dig into his strategy, he did work at some really big outlets out of Brazil. And I think part of the reason that people are skeptical, and it kind of sucks, is the language barrier. Like, I think it's just, if this would have been, like, if this was Andy Robinson talking about this, people wouldn't really doubt it. If it was Jason Schreier, people wouldn't doubt it, but that's because they're English. And it's really easy for people to follow and verify, in English, people that speak English. When it's someone speaking Portuguese, like, it's not like people just aren't as aware in the English speaking world. Mm-hmm. And people are always like, well, then why is this guy, or why is it only now that? Because he's independent now. So he's more able to freely talk without having to like run it past his
Mhm.
bosses and stuff.
Mhm.
That's why
Doesn't
you
have to worry about getting fired.
Yeah, he's not going to fire himself.
Right.
You know, he obviously he's got to worry about protecting his sources, but besides
right.
that, he doesn't have to worry. You know, he gets to make those decisions now. That's why you've heard more. And not everybody goes to FAMI boards where he said a lot of this stuff, and he does actually speak really good English. Some of the rumors or reports that he put out there, he actually made one English video on it, and I wish he would do that more often. Do it both ways. Do it in Portuguese and in English, because I think he's now aware that, like, yeah, a lot of English speakers are like trying to figure out what I'm saying. Well, instead of like having people translate it, why don't I just do it for you?
Mhm.
That would be nice if you do that a bit more often. But I understand that just adds to his workload. Like, guys, he was just with a media pass. Here's the thing: his social following isn't very big. His YouTube channel, it's not like he has like a huge following, but yet he's got all these media badges everywhere. Media badge at Gamescom, on media badge at the Pokemon Worlds, media badge at Summer Game Fest this year. He was at the Days of Play. That's media only. Like, dude, he's getting credentialed everywhere. You think that happens because he's a nobody?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I think one of the reasons that people doubt him is he had this one big thing early in the year that got people mad. We're not talking about he was the first person to report on the Switch 2 being delayed out of this year. Internal delay. Be fair, hasn't been announced. There's no public delay. Internal delay. This would be something you normally wouldn't even hear about. But he said that at the time of the delay that there would be a direct in April, and it might get revealed in June. Obviously, there was no direct in April, and it wasn't revealed in June. So like people really hold that against him. And he admits that like he shouldn't have said that because that information was around the same time it got delayed. So that might have been the plan if it was going to be revealed in March, that they might have followed that up with the Switch Direct in April to kind of calm Switch owners down. Like, hey, but this is, don't worry, we got you. We got Echoes of Wisdom. We got this and that. But then they're like, no, wait, things got all pushed back. But here's the thing. When we got to June, 3 days before the Direct happened, 2 days before it was announced, he literally said, yeah, it's this Wednesday. No one, what? It's this Wednesday? Sure as shit. It happened. He did this, that was for the partner Direct in February. Sorry, the one in June, I think he said was on Tuesday morning. It was like the weekend before. He's like, yeah, everyone's like, man, is this thing going to happen? Yeah, guys, shut up. It's Tuesday morning. Sure as shit. The Direct was Tuesday morning. And now he has this thing where he's like, hey, they moved some events from September to the next couple of weeks. And one of the events already happened. And he came in because people were mad at him because they thought, oh, you're hyping up a museum Direct. He's like, multiple presentations, motherfucker. And there's another one. So shut up. Another one.
People might be.
We'll get into that later. But
I think people might feel burned by like PRO and
I don't know. I think they feel burned by Nate the Hate earlier this year. Remember, Nate the Hate was the one that said it's being revealed in March. Just said it straight up, like it literally in February. If you remember, it was like 3 days before the public announcement came about it, or not public, but the reports came out that it was delayed. He went on a podcast and said it's being revealed in March. And people just got hyped because he's been one of the biggest Nintendo insiders for a long time. And then boom, the announcement comes out about internal delay. It's not being revealed in March. And here's the problem with that. People got hyped up for Switch Pro. Never came out. So people already kind of felt burned from that. And now it just felt like, oh, here's another cycle. This is the same sort of people that were reporting on Switch Pro. Nate the Hate was, reporting on it back then. And now we're burned again. These people don't know anything. Notably, Brazil never said it was being revealed in March. He did say that he was told that they might mention it exists at some point in April. Okay, well, they didn't mention it existed in April. They waited till May 7th. So a week out of April. Pretty close. I think he deserves partial credit for just admitting it exists. Because he was the only, quote unquote insider that said that's what he heard would happen first. Which, if you think about the way Nintendo's handled all of their new systems, it's always been like we mention it exists before we even show it, So that's how we got all the code names in the past, right? Revolution and NX and Dolphin. We got that stuff because that was them admitting something exists before they reveal it. Anyways, I don't know. This to me is just a really odd topic. Eric, what do you think? Like, obviously, we can talk about, well, if it's revealed in September, does that mean it's coming out early next year? Obviously, there's reports that it's like first half rather than like first quarter.
It just can't get here soon enough for me. I still rocking my original Switch, so I am looking to desperately upgrade. Not that my Switch doesn't work, it's just it's time.
What, your Switch isn't like Yulia's where the screen is breaking down and there's lines on it everywhere and she's bitching at me about it every day? By the way, my fiance didn't really play video games until the Nintendo Switch generation, and now I have to buy 4 Nintendo Switch 2s at launch because now she has to have one at launch. So, I actually would appreciate Nintendo if when you reveal this, if it's revealed in September, you just tell us what month it's coming so I know how long I have to save up thousands. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to need to save up. I mean, I'm just going to start saving anyways, but still, damn. All I know, guys, is I'm really excited. Like I'm really, really, really excited. Jawbreaker here did a $5 super chat feature right now. He said, I heard from an anonymous leaker whose name I can't disclose that backwards compatibility won't be in the next system and that it will be 3D. 3D.
Okay.
I love the troll, baby. That's legit. Too legit.
I kind of don't want backwards compatibility.
Oh man, if you believe in Brazil, he said a long time ago it had physical and digital backwards compatibility.
I just feel like it holds systems back. Also,
that developers do have they were given the tools to do upgrades to their backwards compatible games if they wanted to. If they wanted to, not automatic upgrades, but
I don't know if backwards compatibility holds systems back. I think it's more devs and or the actual like system people themselves. Because I mean, look at PS5. Sony could have said, "Okay, enough with bringing along PS4 anymore. We're finally just switching over to PS5." But they've dragged that thing for so long that it's kind of like, okay, sure.
I'll say this. I think I know what John Eba's getting at here, right? Like you're just kind of tired of like the system isn't like we're in year 4 of PlayStation 5 and it doesn't even feel like they've even tapped into the power of it. And yet now we're talking about a PS5 Pro coming out.
And now devs are going back. Like Jedi Survivor just got a PS4 and an Xbox One port.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I mean, they're doing that because the audience isn't migrating at the rate that they expected. That third parties expected. I kind of look at the Nintendo situation. I feel like is really unique because they have publicly been one of the only companies that has said consistently, even in the Iwata era, we believe games sell systems. So if we don't have exclusive games, we don't think there's a reason to buy the system. And so like Nintendo is going to have exclusive games out the gate for this new platform. I know there's that weird Dash Wheel rumor out there about how Nintendo won't have any major game. Yeah, okay. Nintendo repeating the Steel Diver launch of 3DS. I just don't see. I mean,
they're holding stuff. There's no way.
I
haven't had a Mario game for 8 years.
Right? There's no way. Mario. You can't tell me, it'll come 6 months after. 6 months, mother? No. Right. If it's coming 6 months after launch, then delay it till it's ready. What the fuck? Like, come on. There's no way.
ARMS 2 is the big launch title. It's going to sell hundreds of millions of copies.
Even if the launch title ends up being a cross-gen Metroid Prime 4, that's still a bigger deal than Steel Diver. That's still something. I don't know if it's a system seller, but it's something. So like I ain't worried. They're gonna have something at launch. If it's not the 3D Mario and it's not Mario Kart, there's still going to be something, and they're probably gonna have something the month after and the month after. Guys, they've averaged a game being published every single month of the Switch's life. They're not just gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna launch a system then not give you anything to play for 6 months. This isn't the Wii U. This isn't the 3DS where we had to wait till like the holidays to get a Mario Kart game, and that's after they heavily discounted it. Like it'll be fine. I think Furukawa knows what he's doing. I think he's being very smart about this. I feel like there's a little panic in the air, which is why like that rumor comes out about the worry about the Mario games. Like people are just a little worried because we just haven't seen it. I think once this thing's revealed, all the panic's gonna go away.
I said it. I think on my socials, it's not going to flop. It's going to have mainline Pokemon games, and they sell no matter what. Like
Then
we're probably going to get
Mario Kart
Legend
always
ZA at launch. Mario Kart, 3D Mario, Pokemon. Like it's not flopping. There's no doubt.
We had a
There's
massive
no way.
Zelda game in the middle of the gen.
Yeah, there's no way it's flopping.
Dude, Nintendo's putting all their games on one system. I don't know how that can flop unless the system itself is just a bad system. And I don't see Nintendo putting out that bad of it. They're still, they're still supposedly working with NVIDIA. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Is it going to be as powerful as people want it to be? Who knows? People aren't going to care once they play the games. They're not. Like, Nintendo's games are going to be amazing on this thing. Third parties, we'll see. We'll see what they do. Obviously, we don't know yet. But I obviously, as a fan, I really want this thing revealed soon. As a content creator, I also really want it revealed soon. And it's not actually selfishly for my channel, although, yeah, I assume it'll help the channel. I feel like as a content creator, I deal in a wider scope of a Nintendo fan base than I would if I wasn't a creator, because I pay attention to communities from other creators. But normally as a fan, I'm a tech fan, I don't really pay attention to all the communities of all the different tech YouTubers I watch. It's just like one community I maybe like participate in. And what I've noticed in paying attention to all these different Nintendo fan communities, whether it's on Reddit or Twitter or Instagram or all the different YouTubers, a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of people are worn out. And there's also a lot of pressure on Nintendo. And I feel like the reveal, more than anything, just kind of releases that pressure valve that everyone's been feeling. Mm-hmm. It'll just kind of be like a relief for so many fans that, like, hey, it's not rumors anymore. It's not, leaks. It's not like that stuff will still happen. But here's the damn system now. Like, this is even though Nintendo said it exists, it's still kind of like, yeah, we haven't seen it though. Could be vaporware.
I mean, to be fair though, if they do reveal it and it somehow gets delayed, is that make it better? Or does that make it worse?
I don't think they're revealing it and then delaying it after.
I wouldn't think so either. But if something were to happen, let's say they had like 3 or 4 factories burned down or something,
going to the extremes here.
Yeah, no, it would have to be. But if for some odd reason
Taiwan is sunk into the ocean,
hey, you never know. I would hate that. But I mean, you just never know. Would that make that better or worse?
I don't know. I mean, and then we have the reports out there that mass production of some of the components has begun. So, like, that's also like, I mean, setting aside reports and rumors, like that's kind of like, oh, well, if that report is true, and I know DJ Money is not like always the most reliable source on things. It supposedly comes from a financial call that happened with WellTrend. Problem with that is like it's all in Chinese, and I can't like talk about language barriers. Like, look. I tried downloading and listening to it, and then I tried running it through a translation tool, and the English was so broken. I don't really I can't verify any of it. That's the problem. But I don't think they're intentionally lying to us. Like, they even had a direct quote from the CEO. I'm assuming that that's a real quote. So yeah, like if some of the components are in mass manufacturing, then assembly of it probably begins at some point next month or in October. That means something's coming. Whether it's coming in, I mean, I'd like it to come in March. I don't know that that's happening, but even if it's just first half next year, I'm good with that. As soon as they reveal the thing, I mean, look, we get to talk about the games. Like, that's the one thing that hasn't really gotten talked about in all this. We talk about, what would make a good launch game? What would be a good launch year? Yeah, but now we get to see them and actually talk about what they're doing with the games. Or like, we get footage of a third-party game. People are going to be like, oh, we got to compare that to like what we have today. So like we can, holy crud, does that look really good? Are we like fooling ourselves? Wait a second. That looks as good as the PlayStation 5 version when you put them side by side at 1080p? Wait, what? It's crazy. But the Switch 2 is not as powerful. And like, no. Then the game releases and it's buggy and crashes all the time. Who the fuck knows?
I just want Elden Ring. That's all. That's all. It works well on the Steam Deck. It will work fine,
dude. Yeah, Elden Ring needs to be like a launch game. It needs to be like the Skyrim that they advertised with Switch.
Like, I think give us a bundle with the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. Maybe have an exclusive collector's edition where you get a statue of Radon or something.
Sure.
Easy seller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where there's a lot of things they need to do. But anyways, I hope it's revealed next month. I hope the reports are correct. If they're not, I'm sure I'll get shit on a lot by people. What do you want me to do? I'm just reporting the reports. And yes, I get excited because I want the damn thing, man. I wanted it like 2 years ago, let alone today. I've been ready. Look, I love Switch. The Zelda's OLED edition is gorgeous. I love it. But I want all my games on it, man. I want Elden Ring on it. I don't want to have to run to another system. My other systems aren't as convenient. Even Steam Deck, not as convenient. I can't just easily dot that with my TV. I got to grab like a fucking cord and go plug it in because I might just leave a fucking cord pointed out. My kids will yank on it. Oh, yeah, well, there's a dock. Okay, you mean the dock you got to set it in and then plug it into the fucking top? That's no. No, look at this. Look at this. In and out, baby. In and out. And not the food place. I hate that place. Blasphemy, I know. All right. I think we can move on to our next topic. I don't even know what the fuck it is because Thunderstash is up. What are we talking about, man?
Oh, my up.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay. All right. This is interesting, I think. So I don't know about you guys. Obviously, I know you all follow the news very closely. And I know the chat does as well. And obviously, we had Gamescom this week. There was rumors going around about a possible big Xbox game going to another platform, which leads me to other questions, okay? So I feel like with each passing week, we got more reasons to believe that Xbox is going to go third party. With the recent news of Indiana Jones coming to the PS5 this spring, I specifically heard April. What do you guys think are the odds that this could come to Switch 2 as a launch title? That's 1. 2, the game will be running on Series S. So again, I say to you, why not? Then the check Microsoft had to write to Disney to use the indie IP couldn't have been cheap. So they'll need to make their money back. And the only way to do so is by releasing indie on platforms that actually have a large user base. So in my humble opinion, it would make sense for Xbox to release indie on the Switch. And then you also got to look at, they're releasing it on PS5. That's their direct competitor. They don't view Nintendo as a direct competitor. Remember? Nobody views Nintendo as a direct competitor. So you're literally taking
assassin.
Yeah, you're taking
They're the market leader that nobody wants to admit is the leader. So we're just
I know.
with them. Okay, yeah, all right.
This is your biggest IP though. This is the indie IP is like their biggest, in my opinion, IP of this year, like their new IP.
Oh,
Okay?
sure.
I'm not talking about everything else they have, but like to me, if you look at the release calendar outside of the annual Call of Duty, this is probably their most hyped game this year. And you're going to be releasing that in five months later, essentially on PS5. And hey, if the Switch 2 is coming out around March or April, why not, guys? Why not? I think it could run it just fine. And they really do need to make some money back. What do you think?
Phil Spencer's a liar.
We know that.
That's number one.
Technically, he didn't lie. Technically, he didn't
Well,
lie.
do you have the exact quote?
Hold on.
I saw it a few times today on Twitter, and like my take on that is, do I think Phil's a bad guy? No, absolutely not. I really
Well, I
don't.
don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah, I don't think any of us do. Actually, I think he really does care about video games. But again, he's a company guy, and he has to be in order to keep his damn job. I worked in corporate for many years. Sometimes you got to do shit you don't want to do, and you try and do it to the best of your ability. And you have to say things sometimes and do things that you just don't really want to do. But it's that, or you're probably not going to work there, right? And I think Phil sometimes has to say shit that he doesn't want to say. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes he knows. I mean, think about the time when Reggie, our boy Reggie, of all guys, had to say, no, we're not announcing anything. And then the next day they announced Nintendo 3DS. I mean, we all remember that, right? That doesn't make Reggie a bad guy or a liar. He just can't say it. There's just certain things they can't say. And also, I think Xbox, I think there's two, possibly from what I've read, kind of warring factions within that company about the direction they're going. Whether we're staying here in the console business or we're going full on third party, we're going to be a software company and we're going to go back to being called Microsoft Gaming. And then I think the bigwigs in the company aren't even participating in that. And you know what their plan is? Their plan is the cloud. That's where Microsoft's putting all their money. They put all their investment into the cloud. That's where they think they can win, because they know they can't win the console war. They know they can't. They've raised the flag, and I think that's smart. But they think they can win cloud. That's where they're going. And even Phil said, I think he said it yesterday or this morning on IGN Live. I tuned in for a second. I could only stand so much because it was just so much corporate, like kind of word salad. I'm like, oh God, this is just so staged. So I had to turn it off. It just bothers me. But you could tell based on what Phil was saying that we're all going to have to change the way we play video games and the way we release our games to everybody. And I know what he was referring to. He's referring to the cloud. This was on IGN Live this morning.
Yeah.
They were interviewing him. They're giving Microsoft all the PR in the world. And, I'm sure Microsoft was like, yeah, we'll do it. Why not? Because we're trying to sell this hardware and get rid of it. But the quote he gave, I know it, and if I could find it, but he was alluding to what the overall game plan is without saying it. That's the cloud, guys. So that's why I think, too, they don't care. They're going to release these games on PS5 and Switch, and they're going to make as much money as they can and stack as much money as they can because they don't care about the console wars anymore. They're finishing up this generation. Maybe the next one they'll release a portable. But, I mean, you can play Xbox on a Roku stick.
Sure.
And on an Amazon stick. What do you need the console for if you're going all in on the cloud?
I think I know why Xbox fans are mad. I just kind of looked up. So what they were really mad about was back when they made the initial announcement about bringing 4 games to other platforms, whether it was Switch or PlayStation 5 or both. What they did say at the time is that Starfield and Indiana Jones are not one of those 4 games.
Yep.
And that's true. They were not one of those 4 games. What he did not say is that those games won't go to PlayStation 5. It just wasn't going to be one of those initial 4 games that they were going to learn from and make future decisions. And the funny thing is, I think the reason that people feel like it's a lie is, well, okay, that was in February. It's coming out basically practically a year later. It's coming out on PlayStation 5 from those comments, meaning it was probably already in development for PlayStation 5 when he made those comments. So people took those comments to mean those games aren't going multi-platform, when that's not technically what he said. What he said is it's not one of the initial 4 games going multi-platform. And I think people just feel a little betrayed because, like, why would you even bring those games up as examples of games that aren't going multi-platform right now when you already knew you were working on a multi-platform version of that game? And that game in specific, not Starfield, like specifically Indiana. So I get why people are upset, but you're talking a bit about the corporate stuff. I think Phil Spencer, after the Activision, I mean, he's been in a tough position since he got there. He was handed Xbox in a really bad place.
Yeah.
And he spent most of the Xbox One generation like trying to rebuild trust and trying to get people back. And for some reason, they went with the dumbass name of Xbox Series S and X. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with the name of that system, but whatever. They stuck with the terrible naming of the Xbox One and the Xbox One X and One S. I don't know why the fuck they did that, but maybe they thought there'd be some continuity there or something, but I don't really think it's worked out for them. And I heard like Xbox this generation is sold somewhere in the neighborhood of potentially 26 million. I'm not sure. Guys, that's more successful than the GameCube. So I mean, it's not like the worst thing out there. It's just not doing as well as obviously PlayStation and Switches. But what I find interesting is one, Xbox fans I think are just pissed because this is like the realization that Microsoft is going third party. It's happening, and it's very hard to accept if you've been playing Xbox since the very beginning. Like, it's just really, really hard to accept that this platform that I've invested so much time and money in, hey, in 10 years might not be around anymore, but their games are still around, but they're on other platforms. And a lot of it goes to the console warring. Like, I don't want to play the game. I don't want to have to buy a PlayStation to play these games. And it's like, okay, well then don't, by the way, buy a Switch too. After all, not a competitor, right? Only going to get like all the games, but not a competitor. Yeah. Okay. 1.3 billion games have sold on the thing. Not a competitor, though. It's actually funny. As of, I think, Paul Gale Network put this up on Twitter today. Like last month, Switch has been competing longer against PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series than it did against PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Those were some startling statistics. I read that like twice back this morning. I read it and I read it again, and then I took a harder look. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah. And by the way, if you go look at that post, Nintendo's been dominating during both periods, both the PlayStation 4 period and the PlayStation 5 period.
Unheard of.
Like, domination.
Unheard of, right? This has never happened ever.
Like 33 straight months of number one on the MPD. It's a record.
Hell yeah.
It's never happened before. Not even close. Like, it's insane. So, anyways, that's how. By the way, this might sound like we're like bashing on Xbox a little bit. I don't feel like that's what we're doing. I think it's just accepting the reality of what's happening. Phil Spencer was put in a situation. I feel like when he wanted to make a splash, right? He believed in Game Pass. He knew it was going to be like 10 years of probably losing money to be like Netflix. But then when we get to that end, we get to reap all these massive profits from having this massive 100 million plus user base. And that sounds great on paper. And that's what Netflix did. It lost billions of dollars for 10 years. And now it's one of the most profitable streaming services there is. And they did it, and they got there by investing a lot of money over the years to make original content that eventually paid off for them in the end. But what I find fascinating is he thought, okay, I need to go to corporate. Activision Blizzard's on the table. That's the splash. Can I get them to approve this $70 billion deal? That's what we need for Game Pass. And then corporate probably told them, fine, we'll sign off on this. But like, we're looking at your numbers. They don't look good. You gotta bring your games to where the players are. This isn't. We're a business. If we're gonna spend $70 billion, we need to make money. And the only way they can immediately do that is to go multi-platform.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think there's a choice. It sounds good to just lose money, invest in Game Pass, pay off in the end. Microsoft could afford to eat the losses, but he had to get approval from corporate for a $70 billion, the most expensive acquisition in gaming history. One of the biggest acquisitions in U.S. history. Like, to do that, yeah, corporate wants to make money immediately. The only way is multi-platform to do it immediately. They at the moment they approved that deal, they were telling Phil Spencer, we don't believe in your vision. So is Game Pass going to die off one day? That I don't know. Is the cloud going to die off one day? I don't know. What I do know is they have to go multi-platform. Phil Spencer had this whole future, and he outlined this in several different documents and details and court. Like, his future vision was Game Pass subscription service that you could either play on the cloud or play locally on a device if you prefer to play that way. And via cloud, we're on everything. We're on your phone. We're on your smart fridge. We're on, your TVs. They just come bundled in like Roku and Netflix. That was his vision. And I think that vision's been kind of like shattered. Like he wanted the Activision Blizzard deal so bad. And corporate's response is, fine, we need all the money now. And because of that, I don't know that his vision of that cloud future, that Game Pass future, like I kind of feel like, Game Pass might just go away just naturally over time. Because if they're making all their money on PlayStation, Netflix, or I'm sorry, Netflix, Nintendo Switch 2, if like they're looking at the margins and Microsoft corporate's going like, dude, why are we putting these games on Game Pass right now? Look, you're going negative on Xbox, but we're in the green on all the other systems. What the fuck are we doing putting shit on Game Pass? It's not making enough money to justify putting games on it. What are we doing? And then when Phil Spencer eventually, because this is the thing, people can already kind of feel it. Because what was the promise of Game Pass? All Microsoft published games day one. All of them.
Yep.
So far, that's remaining true. They're doing it with Call of Duty this year. So far, it's remaining true. But people are on edge because we can kind of feel that promise is probably getting broken sometime in the next.
They're also increasing the price.
As
Well,
say,
they increase
the price, yeah. And sometime
few
in the next
times.
few years, there's going to be a game or two that's not day one on Game Pass, and that promise is going to get broken, and people are going to shit all over Phil Spencer some more. And I'm like, I think Phil Spencer, because, and you could blame, maybe he blames himself because he's the one that wanted the Activision Blizzard deal. But I mean, that Activision Blizzard deal, people talked about how they didn't want Microsoft to own Call of Duty or this and that. Yeah, but in the end, nothing's really changing. Everyone's still getting all the games. In fact, what's happening now, if you're a PlayStation fan, you should be thrilled that Activision Blizzard deal went through. I think if that deal didn't go through, you're not getting Indiana Jones. You're not dreaming of Starfield coming over. You're not dreaming of getting Halo. But now, because that acquisition went through, there's so much corporate pressure to make money right now. Now, like, everything's probably going to go to PS5, even if it's on like a 3-month, like, and that's what this feels like what, a 4-month, maybe a 6-month delay. It's not that big of a wait. Like, people can wait 6 months.
Has there been any numbers of how the 4 games did? Like Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush.
Sea of Thieves, I heard, is
Grounded
doing excellent on PS5. I did hear that, but I haven't heard about Hi-Fi, Pentiment.
Microsoft's weird because they don't publish sales data anymore. They just publish overall profit margins. So it's like there are some territories we do have factual individual sales for, but that's usually still only physical. Because you got to get the digital data from Microsoft, and then you have Game Pass on top. Obviously they have a good idea of that already. I think I know I heard Sea of Thieves was doing pretty good on PS5. I'd be very interested in like what Grounded numbers are like on the Switch. I think I'd be very fascinated to know like how many people actually picked it up. I know I have it, but I was sent a code, so like that doesn't count.
I bought it for the just so I could say I have an Xbox game on my
Xbox
Switch.
game. Yeah, you get MLB The Show once too.
I buy MLB The Show every year on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, man. Hey, Switch, it's like a PC. You get your Xbox published games and your Sony published games, baby.
At least MLB The Show has cross progression, so I can play it.
Everyone's publishing multi-platform except Nintendo.
I do think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be a good indication if they could sustain Game Pass the way it is now. Like they'll see what their numbers are after Black Ops 6 comes out.
I think they're adding it. Like I know they obviously have that promise. We're always going to add it, but I honestly think Black Ops for them, Phil Spencer's trying to like push for corporate. You got to let me put this on Game Pass. I think it's going to really. Here's our projections for our bump in subscriber growth if we do that. Because hey, everyone who wants to play it on PC, why not get it on Game Pass? Why not save money and get access to all these other games? I can tell you why. Because the Microsoft store on it sucks. I use Game Pass on my PC to play like Age of Empires and. There's some other games coming out that I want to play. Age of Mythology coming out and stuff. The RO World History game I'm gonna play on PC as well, and I'm doing that all through Game Pass. To the Microsoft store, the Xbox thing is so bad. I don't know how Microsoft is a PC company and their own inbuilt Game Pass Xbox ecosystem is so bad on PC. Like they should just like find a way to like work with Steam. And like outsource it and just have a separate subscription service through Steam that's Game Pass to get access to it. I don't know. I don't even know if they could do that, but it's really bad. I think that Man. Eric, what do you think about this? Like, we both own Xboxes.
Yeah.
So, like, how are you feeling about this? You've been playing Xbox since the beginning.
Yeah, I have. Honestly, to me, it's not the end of the world. I don't game as much as I used to anymore. So, my biggest gaming system is my Switch. So the more games I can get on Switch, I'm fine with. So, I guess I don't have to spend an extra $500 to get an Xbox again.
Look,
So,
the more hope I
yeah.
have for a remade Conker's Bad Fur Day being released on Switch 2, the better, man.
there is that.
Bring it everywhere, but
There
not bring
is
it to my
that.
Switch 2, man.
There's they know that people want Banjo. They Phil mentioned it.
Phil's mentioned it many times. Remember, Phil's a liar. I literally think it's gonna turn out like 3 years from now that he has told a number of lies, but I also think they weren't lies at the time that he said it. Like
they're probably not.
the land, like he talked about it today. Like the landscape has changed, and it's not just Microsoft. Sony's publishing their games on PC.
Yeah,
and now it's not just always delayed. Sony published Helldivers 2 day one on PC. That wasn't even a delay between PS5. There's day one on PC.
And look how well that did. So yeah, of course they're going to.
Yeah, you think they're not going to start doing more day ones on PC?
I feel like they owe it though to the shareholders, both companies, because they've already seen now that for Sony, that if you release games on PC, you're going to make way more money. So now if they don't do that, they're going to be like, why didn't we do this? At the next shareholders meeting, numbers are down. Well, why didn't we release this game on PC? Don't you think that would have made some money? Same thing though with Microsoft. Because once you've done it, that door is open.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Nintendo's not done that. And I never expect them to. But once you've done it, now they expect you to, the shareholders. And why wouldn't they? When they can make more money. We talked about this maybe a month ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I brought it up. And it was my topic when I was breaking down all that math about how much more money Microsoft can make. Dude, they're in the business of making money. They always have been. Any company is. But to the extent of Microsoft, I mean, they live for that.
$1 trillion company.
Yeah, they live for money. And they're not going to turn down an opportunity to go make more money. I think they're a very competitive company. I think at the beginning of all of this, they probably thought, and I'm talking, back in 2001, they probably thought they were going to come up into the console business and start wrecking some shit. I really believe that. And if you went back and looked at some of those conferences from back in the day, it's not hard to believe that. They were very confident, sometimes cocky. They tried to buy Nintendo. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Multiple times from what we've gathered, but I think they thought they were going to really own shit. And I think they may have even stayed in longer than they anticipated without getting to that number one spot. And I think they've honestly accepted the fact that they're not going to be number one. And that what we really need to focus on now is how to turn enough profit, how to make more money, and then get ourselves out of this mess. Whether that's through the cloud eventually, because I don't think the cloud's ready. Even, some people in the chat were saying that too. Like they don't like cloud. I don't like cloud. Cloud's crap. Not a fan at all. But maybe down the road, when we're on 5G everywhere, now it's 6G, maybe cloud will be better, right? But right now, I definitely don't think it's sustainable, but Microsoft would be in their best interest to release games on PS5 and Switch because you will make the most money.
You know what I find interesting? I've talked at length with some fans that get into these like console wars about the business side of the companies, because well, we're talking about all these games going like third party. Microsoft's doing it, and Sony's at least doing it with PC. Maybe they eventually do it with Xbox. If Xbox had a big enough user base, they felt like it would make money there. Maybe they'd end up doing it with Switch too. Remember, not a competitor.
Look at Horizon.
Yeah, we're already getting Lego Horizon. And that's published by Sony. I feel like these companies are doing it, these platform holding companies, because they operate differently than Nintendo does. Because Nintendo operates as a zero debt company. They don't take out loans ever, which means they owe nobody nothing. Other companies, Microsoft included, like they're $1 trillion company, but that's on paper. They don't actually have $1 trillion laying around. That's all stock valuation. That's just other people valuing your stock at a certain level. They don't actually have trillions of dollars sitting around. And the thing is, Sony and Microsoft both operate in the same way in that they're all about trying to keep as much money as possible, hence all the big bonuses and all the stuff they give out to the CEOs and all this stuff, and avoid paying taxes as much as they can. And so they actually are trying to make their balance sheets at the end of the year kind of be close to break even, where it looks like they didn't really make anything. Yet the company added and bigger, and they did this and they did that, and but the balance sheet doesn't reflect that. The balance sheet looks like, oh, you didn't really make that much money this year. That's because any net profit you have, you pay extreme taxes on to the government. And so a lot of companies operate in this way. So what they'll do is they'll intentionally take on loans, and like this acquisition of Activision Blizzard, they didn't just hand over $70 billion in cash. They actually took out a loan from a bank to do it, because they might. I think Microsoft might have potentially had enough cash on hand, but usually these companies don't have that kind of cash on hand to make that acquisition. But because of their company valuation, they qualify for loans. Sony has about $10 billion or so in a bank, but they owe over $130 billion in loans to various different banks. So what happens at these companies is when they have quarters that are lower than expected, they can actually default on their loans. And that's bad. Mm-hmm. The thing about being a company that's always taking out loans to try to zero out your balance is it puts you at extreme risk of bankruptcy. So whenever you see like, oh, Sony's laid off these people, or Microsoft's laid off another 25,000 people, or whatever, yes, there's corporate greed involved in that and all this stuff. Absolutely, CEOs are paid way too much money. You can talk all about that, but it's also they had to cut costs immediately, or they would have defaulted on loans that could cause you to go into bankruptcy. Like Microsoft, they're $1 trillion. Yes, which means they have a lot of loans. They got to make a lot of money to pay those loans. So when they take it out, the presumption is they'll always have the money to do it. It's actually very risky business. But the reason you do it is, one, you get to keep most of the money you make. You know, unfortunately, that keeps getting paid out to the corporate people, and not necessarily all the employees underneath should get their salaries raised or something. That's my personal opinion. They should spread the wealth more among the employees, but that's a different conversation. Nintendo is a risk-adverse company. See, the reason you want to take out the loans and avoid taxes, you make more money personally, and then also you can expand the company quicker and become a mega corporate. You can become a $1 trillion company like Microsoft. Nintendo's never going to be a $1 trillion company. But Nintendo, also, the way they do it without ever taking out loans is there's zero debt. So Nintendo wants to maximize their net profits every year. They want as much as possible. They'll pay all the taxes. They don't care. They want to keep adding to their bank account. Because if Nintendo's going to make an acquisition, they got to have the money for it. They're not going to borrow money to buy a company. They're going to go to their bank, take money out. When they bought part of Dena, they went to their bank. They took money out. They didn't get a loan. They had money in the bank. And what this also does is when you have a down period, like Nintendo did for the first 2 years of Wii U and 3DS, when they actually went in the negative, Nintendo didn't owe anyone anything. That negative was to themselves. They owed money to themselves by going in the negative. They spent more money than they brought in. All right, well, the money was already spent. So, yeah, their bank account went down a little bit. But that's when all the reports came out that Nintendo's at the rate they were losing money those 2 years, Nintendo could have did that for 50 years and not gone under. Because that's what happens when you don't owe anyone any money. And now this generation, Nintendo has made more profits than ever. It's on the balance sheets. The last 6 years for Nintendo has been the most profitable the company's ever been, despite only having one system. And I think what's going on, these other companies, they just got to make as much money as possible right now just to kind of like stay afloat and avoid defaulting on loans. Whereas Nintendo, they want to make as much profits as possible. You ever wonder why doesn't Nintendo discount their games? Why don't they lower the price of their systems? Well, Nintendo needs to keep growing the bank, because what if something bad does happen? What if something bad happens? You just mentioned it like earlier. Hey, what if the factories go under? Nintendo just burned money then. They just burned money. It's gone. Well, they got to be able to cover that, because they're not going to take out a loan for it, because that puts them in deep shit. Because if they burn their money and suddenly they burn through their bank balance trying to cover that, and then all of a sudden they take on a loan, now they owe money that they haven't even made yet. And then if the next system bombs, well, shit, Nintendo's out of business. So they're very risk adverse with how they do it. And that, I think, is why Nintendo is the only one not going multi-platform. Because they don't have to. They don't need to bring their games to PC. They don't need to bring their games to PlayStation. They actually believe what helps keep their company safe is that you have to invest in Nintendo's ecosystem to play Nintendo's games. They feel like that keeps them safe. It keeps them in control. And they've been right so far. They're the only company today that believes exclusives sell systems.
Yeah.
PlayStation popped off with PS1 due to third parties. It's third-party games that made PlayStation popular, not their exclusives. You can go back and look at the sales of the games. It's Final Fantasy. You know, it's third-party games that used to be on Nintendo that went over to PlayStation. You look at Xbox. I mean, come on, is there any generation where Xbox was carried by their first party? Is there any of them? Maybe Halo. Maybe the first Xbox,
Yeah,
right? Halo.
Just
Halo
Halo.
might have been like, but that was Xbox, the first Xbox. The Xbox 360 sold 80 million. It wasn't just because of Halo. Call of Duty. I remember they had the Call of Duty marketing deal most of that generation too. So, by the way, this isn't me like bashing what Sony and Microsoft choose to do as companies. The way they operate as companies is the way like most companies operate, because they want to. No one likes making like $1 trillion and then having to pay 800 billion of it in taxes. Like, that just sounds bad. And Nintendo does pay maximum tax penalties. They just don't care, because they know that their company is safe. No one can take that company from them because they don't owe anyone anything. That also means Nintendo will never be as big as these companies. They'll never be able to make a $70 billion acquisition, at least not in our lifetimes. But Nintendo is smart. How did they learn to diversify their revenue, guys? What's Nintendo doing now? How are they making money? Oh, man,
Movies, theme parks,
Lego.
Like
don't forget about this.
Yeah.
Princess Peach Teddy Grahams, dude.
Nice. Partnering with,
oh, there was the Oreos too, weren't
the
they?
Oreos to the Mario Oreos. Yeah. They've had cereals, and like Nintendo's expanding with consumer grade products that don't affect them having to bring their games to other platforms. And I think we're in this flux right now where like Xbox, people who've been faithful to Xbox for a long time are mad because they grew up with the exclusive generation. People on PS5, I've even seen some of them bitch about Helldivers being day one on PC. I've seen them bitch about Lego Horizons going to Switch. And it's like, yeah, because you guys also grew up in what I basically call the exclusive generation of gamers, where all systems competed with each other based on exclusives. And that's kind of behind us. I mean, you heard it from Square Enix earlier this year. Square Enix came right out and said, hey, we got to stop like doing these exclusive game deals. We need to focus on like being where the gamers are and being everywhere.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Switch 2 third-party support because we're gonna see
Right.
stuff that we haven't seen in the Switch era. We're gonna see Call of Duty. We're probably gonna see Final Fantasy. The new Final Fantasies.
Yep.
Here's the crazy thing. Outside of PC, because PC gets everything, or hey, you can emulate everything, right? Potentially Switch 2 might be the only platform of the console manufacturers that one day could literally have it all. They have all the major third-party games. They also have Sony and Microsoft's games, and they have exclusives. I want Sony and Microsoft to remember this whole generation when they said Nintendo's not a competitor. And then 10 years from now, when Nintendo's like the only console manufacturer still around, dominating with like 200 million in sales because they just give every game under the planet. Like, by the way, I'm not predicting that's going to happen. I think PlayStation's going to be pretty healthy for at least one more gen, but they got to make some changes.
PlayStation sells on name alone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's a console seller that they have. Spider-Man 2, maybe?
Spider-Man 2, that was pretty
But
big.
that underperformed.
It did.
Like
Yeah, they straight up said
very
it.
bad. They were very upset about the sales
The
numbers.
profit margins on that were not good.
Which sucks, but I have the game. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they actually had a number of releases already this year. Can't remember what they were though, besides Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Of course, Astro Bot comes
Yeah,
out.
Astro Bot
coming up.
comes
Yeah,
out.
that one looks hype.
I got that pre-ordered.
Yeah, that one looks hype for sure.
Yeah, I'm
Will
really
it
excited.
sell systems though?
You-
That's the
you
thing.
don't-
Like, will it?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't think it
so.
will.
I don't think it's gonna sell systems. The funny thing is that
Sadly,
it sucks because it's one of their most creative games they made in a while.
Yeah.
But like the thing that gets them in trouble is they keep spending all this money to make the games. They're like, oh, Astrobot probably wasn't like super expensive to make. I'm like, no, probably not compared to Spider-Man 2 with all the licensing stuff. Oh, but then we're hearing, but yeah, they went and licensed Crash. They went and licensed Spider. I'm like, yeah, so they wrote a fat check to Microsoft. Like, so they just made that game more expensive.
Ratchet and Clank was what, $90 million or something?
Jesus Christ.
they're spending so much money. Like Sony is spending tremendous amounts, and I'm looking at the chat, and they're all hitting a lot of games. Like, okay, yeah, we have God of War Ragnarok, but of course that came out also on PS4. Good.
PS4, yeah.
Horizon Forbidden West, also PS4. Okay, all great games, all games that I've beat. I really, really enjoyed. But yeah, they all underperformed. I don't know about Ragnarok. I have to look, but I know Forbidden West definitely underperformed.
What's interesting too is like they released PSVR 2. They dropped like the Horizon game on it, and that's it. They haven't released a single exclusive or like any reason to buy the thing over a MetaQuest or anything else.
And even now they released
know.
an adapter so that you can
So
play
you
your
don't even need a
Steam
PlayStation
VR
5
games
anymore.
or something.
I have it. I
Yeah.
got the adapter.
Yeah.
I was testing it out. It was, and I got a good PC. Like I meet all the specs and clear them, but man, it was quite finicky.
Yeah.
Finicky to the point of frustration. I'm
It
like,
wasn't designed. It wasn't
Thank you.
designed
Yeah.
for that.
I
It was
ain't got time for this shit.
it was literally built to work perfectly with PS5, and it does.
Does
But they're not releasing any damn games for it. So you have to hook it up to PC and go to other shops so you can actually play useful shit, but then it doesn't actually work well with PC because it was never designed for it. So then you're like, well, shit, why don't I just buy a MetaQuest or something like that? I get to play wirelessly with their shop, and then I can still plug that shit into my PC and play all the PC stuff on it. And by the way, I'm not like pumping up Meta here. I only mentioned the MetaQuest because it's consumer grade, it's everywhere,
Mhm.
and you can use it wirelessly. You don't have to have another system.
I have the Quest 2, and I also have the PC adapter for that, the cable.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. Like it the way that works with the PC versus what I just experienced with the PSVR 2 is quite different.
Yeah.
Now I'm hoping that some shit gets ironed out, and maybe in a few months it'll be a little bit more user friendly, kind of like the PlayStation Portal. When I first used it, it just was very choppy, wasn't connecting good. But over time, there's been a lot of patches, and now I could actually use it anywhere in my house. I could use it other places, and it actually works good.
I feel like we're missing the best VR headset, guys. Labo.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I still
I
have
have
one in my
it.
closet,
I have
factory
it.
sealed though.
I got it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Of course, it's factory sealed. That's just
You know what though? It only is because I didn't find time to do it, and so many years have went on, and I'm like, nah, I'll just keep it sealed. I got other stuff I'm playing right now.
Yeah, who cares anymore? It died out. It is what it is.
It did.
But good old Nintendo with their hold it to your face version of VR. Smart. I don't know who at Nintendo thought.
No strap.
You know what's a great idea? Look, it's one thing. Oh, it's a little front heavy to pull on the head. Yeah, you know what's also sucks about being front heavy? Having to hold your arms up in the air like this to use it. That I'd rather pull on my head. Thanks, but whatever.
Did you guys play, just real quick, since we're talking about VR, did you play that Mario Kart Live? Did anyone get that when it came out?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
I bought it like as a gift for 2 different friends' kids, but I never bought it myself. And I'm curious, was it cool? Is it worth like trying to get on eBay if it's a good deal before it becomes like
I think
scarce?
you can get it fairly easy at like Target right now. I think they still stock
It's
it.
like it's fun. Because
Maybe
you
Black
build
Friday.
real life Mario Kart courses, and then they overlay like AR stuff with it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It
I've
has
seen it.
customization. Like you could
The
change
the crazy part is like when you're sitting there looking at your Switch and you're like playing the game, it does a really good job. Like you hit a speed burst, it makes it feel like you're fucking gunning it, and then you look over at your cart and it just went from going like this to like just a little bit faster. It's like not even that much faster, and yet they did such a really cool job with how they. Honestly, it's one of the most inventive things they've done with Mario Kart in a long time.
Yeah.
The problem is, of course, it's just like the toys to life thing. It's kind of like, yeah, but it requires people to physically build courses and get friends together with multiple copies to play together.
Yeah.
Like it's just asking a lot, even though it's to me, like obviously this didn't take off for him. I think it sold some millions, but it didn't take off. I don't think we're going to get another version of it anytime soon.
Yeah.
But this feels like what they should have had as an interactive experience at the Nintendo Museum. Because then people are gathering together. That's the perfect way to do it. Where have them have a whole area with you provide all the objects to build your own courses.
Dude, have Four Swords Adventures, and then have Pac-Man Versus.
Hell yeah.
Pac-Man Versus. You guys remember that, right?
Oh yeah.
That was cool.
You know the Nintendo Museum. Transition. All right, Eric. What are we talking about, buddy?
Well, on Monday, Nintendo had a direct where it showed off their brand new museum out of Japan. It's 2 floors with a lot of and gaming goodness. It opens on October 2nd. Are we all excited about this? Do we ever plan on going? What do we got going?
One, this direct was way cooler than I thought it was going to be.
I felt like a kid watching it. Like I was so excited. I was in your live stream watching it, and I was like just shaking my head, smirking the whole time. I was like, "This is so cool, dude." And when my girlfriend came home, I'm like, "Babe," I was like, "Remember how I told you they were doing the Nintendo Direct Museum today?" And I said, "We got to watch it before we go to bed." I'm like, "You got to see how cool this is going to be." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like they went all out, and we're planning on going to Japan for my birthday next year for my 40th. Because I turned 40.
Nice.
Nintendo, regular Nintendo, the home console turns 40.
Sure, yeah.
And so I don't go anywhere. I don't travel.
No. So, by the way, this is one of the things where people think there might be a Switch 2 thing.
Yeah, let me see this.
See this row back here behind Switch? Notice how all these other ones have the controllers above them or the system above it, but there's nothing above this one back here.
Oh, to the right.
Yeah, to the left over here behind. So you see the Switch section. Behind the Switch section, there's a whole nother row of something.
I see what you
Okay.
mean, because like the Game Boy has.
Yeah, the Game Boy's above that, its back row, etc. But there's nothing above that one. So people are like, "Oh shit, is that the successor aisle?" Obviously, it's conspiracy theory shit.
Maybe.
But anyways, so I just wanted to point that out.
So I am planning on going. I am legit planning on going. We talked about this like a couple months ago, and I said, "Hey, one thing we got to do is go to the Nintendo Museum." I said it was supposed to open in the spring. It was delayed to the fall, which is obviously now October 2nd. And we should also obviously talk about that October 2nd deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it opens on October 2nd.
Besides being a day before my birthday.
Yeah. Like this whole direct, it made me, I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always told myself it'd be cool to go to Japan one day. Now I have my real reason to go. Assuming that they don't ever open a similar museum anywhere else. Like, I'm not going to be able to go for a while. Going to Japan's expensive, right? Like, it is an expensive trip. But damn, man. This is everything. Like, this museum is so much cool. Like, I thought it was just going to be, like, just aisles of games. You know? Like, the concepts I would come up with a museum with a couple interactive things. They have 8 interactive ththings you can do.
Yeah, we only got to see the 3 of them.
Well, they showed
And they looked awesome.
on the website. Yeah, they showed some of them on the website. There's like a Game & Watch one where you control it with your shadows.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of them. Gosh, I can't remember. They showed off a couple more of them. They're just screenshots. We didn't see it in action, but and they apparently they have like the rare systems here, like some of them that like never released or like limited edition releases to show off. What some people did point out too, though, what they're actually surprised is Nintendo doesn't have mint copies of their own games. Like here, like look at that Donkey Kong. Those are not mint.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, Nintendo didn't keep mint editions of their own stuff.
That's
Maybe that's in a
interesting.
different spot.
Yeah, maybe.
These are to display.
Yeah, some people are like, did Nintendo have to go in the aftermarket to buy these? Like, or was this like a personal, like Miyamoto's personal collection from his house?
Yes.
Oh man. But dude, this museum is so cool.
There's so much history here, and it was just so cool to see Miyamoto come out and be the one to present this to us. Because, he's the father, really, of the modern day Nintendo as we know it. He's the father of, like, all of our, the IP we've grown up with, from Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong. And it's just so cool to see him, like, be in his element like he is once again. And it's just cool to see Miyamoto in his element. Like, think about the times at E3 that he came out with, the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield. And it just reminds me of that. It was cool, man. I'm proud of everything they've done.
Eric, what do you? Oh, you're watching it for the first time right
Yeah.
now. Like, what's going through your head?
I want to be there now because this place looks amazing.
So that was another thing people noticed. So they had the evolution of the question block thing, and it cuts off right after, I think, after Odyssey or after Wonder. I can't remember. Like, it looked like there was clearly another one, but it stopped and it cut. Yeah, this conspiracy theory about this video for Switch 2.
Your
runs very-
tinfoil hats out.
Yeah.
I liked what
There it goes. And
Oh.
then it just conveniently stops right when they were about to show something else. Again, this is all conspiracy theory shit. There's going to be nothing Switch 2 in the entire museum. But,
I want to play a game with a big controller.
they do have them there.
yeah. Did you guys see?
Oh, yeah. He
original-
hasn't seen this yet. He's watching this for his first time.
So
I
Eric,
like the Duck Hunt game that they showed. Or
Oh,
I
that
guess
looks
it's not a Duck Hunt
badass.
game. It's like
But it's,
all their guns with the
the light
zapper
gun.
and the
The
super
light gun.
scope. Like, that's cool.
what do you guys think about those directional speakers on the TV?
yeah, those are cool. So the
That's
funny
cool.
thing is, I just watched a Linus Tech Tips video about that exact technology like 2 days before they showed this, and I'm like, oh shit, They just talked about this being great for museums, and Nintendo's literally using these exact speakers.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's
thought
crazy
it
to
was
me
awesome.
that they had gun replicas. Like they were showing an actual revolver, and then
Well,
there
that was a toy gun that they had.
yeah, no, but like thinking about Nintendo now, they would never have an actual.
Well, did Nintendo
They
back
wouldn't have a gun that looks like a gun.
They were making cards for illegal gambling. Did Nintendo history isn't all like, hey, we're this happy-go-lucky family company.
Dude, I've watched so many documentaries on Nintendo, and there's a great one that's free, guys, to watch. I think it's on like Tubi. It's on a bunch of different apps. And Sean Astin, from Goonies,
Yep.
and or for more, for the younger
Lord of
kids
the
from
Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Rudy, he was in Stranger Things. He is the narrator, and it was like a 6-part Nintendo documentary. And my girl and I, we watched like the first, second episode, and then I got a temperature checked with her. I'm like, are you enjoying this? You want to keep watching it, or is this going to be something that I just finished watching on my own? Wanted to give her an out. She's like, no, it's really good actually. Like, this is super interesting. I'm like, all right, cool, because I'm liking it too. And we ended up watching the whole thing in one night, which was hours. I'll find the name of it. You guys would all love it. Everyone in the chat would love it.
Hell yeah. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting too. You get these cards, right? And you get 10 coins at the beginning to do all the different interactive experiences. It costs a certain number of coins. Nintendo is a little clever Joe. You can only get 10. You can't buy extra, and you cannot do everything with the 10 coins, forcing you to have to come back multiple days.
Bastards.
Well, I mean, look, if you're making a
No,
trip all the way
I
to
mean,
Japan, you
yes,
probably
I
no
realize
problem.
that.
If you live in Japan, oh no, yeah, you'll probably go multiple times.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it's probably crowd control reasons, But so like this is really cool. They built houses. So for those listening to audio version, we're watching the thing, and this is the part where they built replicas of what Japanese houses used to look like back when this toy came out. This little pitching toy, and you can go inside and play with the toy and bat the balls. And when you hit different things in the room, they interact and do different. You'll see Miyamoto do it here in a moment in one of the rooms. It's really cool. He was trying to hit the TV a couple times and he missed, but yeah, here's Miyamoto about to use the old Ultra machine. And yes, you can go in and do this yourself. So you scan your card and here we go. Oh, you just missed. So close. This way, he's going to hit something here in a second. Oh, that one didn't hit either. He's still going. Boom! Hit the bottles.
Nice.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah. Oh, he hits the copy machine.
I was laughing out loud when I saw that. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's just there's a lot of really neat things going on in this whole event. Like this is the game now about the duck hunt sort of type of thing. Just really, I was shocked like how interactive everything is. Like the more this is like my third time watching through this. It's very interesting. I guess I shouldn't be surprised how creative this is. Like this is Nintendo. Like this is a very Nintendo-like museum where you're gonna come and have these unique experiences you're just not going to get anywhere else. Like you would think, oh, they could have did this in an arcade, except they didn't. It's only here.
Yeah.
You can only do this here. You're going to only be batting these little tiny balls from our old game, our old little toy game we released, and have all these interactivities in Japanese homes. You're only going to get that here. You can play half Uwanda on the ground with your cell phone and touching squares. You can only do that here. Like it's all about like making this really fun, unique experience. I think what's going to be interesting to me is because like museums evolve over time, right? They're always like moving exhibits out. Like I think the game exhibit on floor 2, I think floor 2 is more of like a permanent exhibit. Like that's the hey, this is where we're gonna always have like the history of the company and the products we've made. Like that's like what that floor is about. But I think this first floor with all the interactive stuff, I feel like over a course of 10 years, like they'll swap in and out like different experiences to encourage people to come back over the years.
Do you think they will invite creators?
Oh, please.
And if so,
pay
How
my
do we
bill.
get on that list?
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think they're going to, but please, Nintendo, do it, and please contact me, and please say you're offering free flight and hotel.
Yeah.
I'll come, baby. You can put me in the shit class. I don't care. I'll deal with the 14-hour flight. Let's go.
Yeah, you'll have your Switch.
Hell,
You have
I'll
your
come
Switch
back
too.
when I have to.
So, Eric, here it is, the giant
Yeah.
controllers that take
Oh.
2 people to play.
Fudge, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Dude, I'm just kind of watching the stream here and the part with the light guns and stuff. It almost feels like Hogan's Alley.
A little bit.
To a
Uh-huh.
certain
Yeah,
extent.
because there's like ones you're not supposed to shoot. Like, don't shoot Toad.
Yeah. Oh, I'm shooting.
Don't
Toad.
shoot Mario. But like the giant controllers, I really the one that I thought was funny. I'm like, okay, it says 2 players per controller. I'm like, but what about the N64? Like, I'm not even talking about the D-pad and like, okay, you're probably only using the D-pad or you're using the control stick.
Mhm.
But if you're using the control stick, who's hitting the trigger button underneath?
Yeah.
Who's hitting the
Who
trigger?
controls the camera?
I know.
I mean, someone's over there at the C buttons and the
Right.
AB, but
Right.
who's doing the trigger button? I feel like it's a 3-person controller there.
I think the Wii one will be hilarious.
They show it
Try to-
here where like they're holding it up and moving, and I'm like, okay, who's gonna get banned trying to shove one of those things up their asses for a TikTok? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen day one.
Watch me sit on the N64 joystick. God.
Hey,
Yep,
Jeez.
they're banned.
real question: how many takes do you think they had to do to get past level 1?
Oh my god, I've probably a dozen at least.
I was
How many
wondering, man.
I actually wonder
Workers
if that's
did they
even
go
all one
through,
run.
really?
I always wonder, like, was that all one run, or did they like splice together different runs to just get to the end?
I watched it.
It might
really
have been
closely, man.
pre-recorded too. It might not have actually been.
Oh, they may not have actually been playing.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
pre-recorded.
Are you
so-
doubting Nintendo's employees? own skill?
Wait, no, I want to go to the museum. No, it was definitely real.
Oh, they were definitely playing. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if Miyamoto would stand for that.
You got the tracing stuff there to make your own cards. Oh, this is kind of interesting. They advertise this cafe. They serve burgers and sides. That's it. There's no other main entree. But don't they say you can make it like 27,000 different ways?
No.
I swore they said you dress your own burger and you can make it 27,000 different ways.
That Jesus.
Yeah. I'm like, that's interesting. I do love how they showed, oh, you could buy merchandise here too. Like we have our own store, but don't show us any of the actual merchandise.
Oh man, exclusive merchandise.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I at least want a t-shirt. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll take a t-shirt.
I still need to get to the amusement park to get that exclusive merch.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's some sick stuff at the amusement park shops. I mean, even you already get some too. Like if you get like the wrist thing, like hey, that's a neat little thing. You get to get a little wristwatch with the character. Yeah. So like, look, the Nintendo Museum looks great. Like Eric. Oh yeah, you're not gonna hear this, Eric, but
Yeah.
he's gonna touch the toad heads, and they make a song together
Nice.
when you touch them. Yeah.
I'll go back and watch this afterwards, but
I mean, are you sold, Eric? You want to go to Japan now, buddy?
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
wanted to go before this too, but yeah, this actually gives me an actual reason to go for sure.
Man, this museum is great. Like, I just can't get over it. I could just watch this all day.
Yeah.
See, they should make the museum a VR experience.
Ha! That'd be awesome.
Put it on the 3DS. Do the Louvre again.
Oh god. But no, I've seen some people call this like the best direct Nintendo's ever done because there was nothing disappointing the entire time. It
It would be cool
over
if they had arcade games, like some of their arcade games, like the Nintendo versus arcade.
You have
You
to
think
wonder.
they showed everything? They might not have
Yeah, I
showed it.
got a feeling there's some stuff they didn't show.
Oh, probably.
Like
Yeah.
we know that there's interactive things they didn't show, but I wonder if there's like upstairs if there isn't like an arcade section and they're actually playable.
Yeah, you would think so because they
of
obviously have a
Nintendo.
lot of arcades.
Yeah, and it's the history of Nintendo. Maybe we just didn't see the arcade section.
I
I
mean,
do
the
like how
first-
the Nintendo Museum like signage above him looks like a GameCube.
Yeah, it does. Man, this is just so cool.
Mhm.
I'm in awe. I could watch this all day.
Do they have an amiibo section?
Oh, they didn't show one, but I assume there's going to be an amiibo section. They have to have all the amiibo there, right?
Dude, what kind of exclusive merch do you think they're gonna have?
Lots of things that say Nintendo Museum.
What if they had like an exclusive Nintendo Museum amiibo or something, or like
Oh my
controller? You know, like what if they went real crazy and got stuff that you
man.
just had to get?
Dude, resellers online will make fucking bank. Those
Yeah.
things sell out every single day because there'd be only so many in the damn store to buy, and they would sell for thousands online. Holy shit, that would
Right?
be. That's the thing. Like that happens too. Like there's some exclusive merch that happens at like the theme parks that some people try to sell online too. The problem is there's so much of it. You know, like when it first opened, it was selling really well in the resale market, but now it's like, yeah, but dude, this place has been open forever. And now there's gonna be.
But I feel like Japan is a little bit harder to get to for at least
international.
American.
Yeah. Just North American.
Than
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, man, I'm just in awe. It's
I
on my.
already got the sign off from my partner. She's like, whatever you want to do.
No,
We'll go
yeah,
to
Julia
Japan.
will say do whatever you want, but then her next question is, so how we saving for it? And I go, well, shit. Look, I'll put it on the bucket list when the kiddos are about to move out. Let's see where we're at. But what if they want to go? Good, they got jobs. They can pay their own way. Anyways, pretty neat stuff. Let's go ahead and
I like it.
think it's I don't even know how to end this thing. I think I should do that. Well, bam. Oh, hey, hi.
Oh, how's it
Hi. All right. So I guess we can get to our last topic here. Remember, guys, we are taking questions as well. We have a Q&A that happens at the end. You can submit your questions for the Q&A if you're watching live with super chats, at least a $2 super chat, because that's like the lowest YouTube goes to let you type. I'd be cool if it was a $1 one, but you can't like ask a question with that. And we'll feature it on the show. Like we already featured one. We have one question queued up. Looking at our last topic, this is about another Nintendo Direct this month. And again, this all kind of ties to the Switch 2 stuff we were talking about earlier and technically ties to the Nintendo Museum because Pedro Henrique Ludalipa, otherwise known as PH and or Brazil Online, has spoken up after the Museum Direct to say there is another presentation this month, likely a Direct of some type because he was originally making this tease in the Direct speculation thread over on Family Boards. So assuming that he's right because he said there'd be multiple events and that this was one of them. This wasn't all he was teasing though. What type of Direct do you think there will be? Because I feel like we have like 4 distinct possibilities. Obviously, a Nintendo Direct Mini or a general Direct, because there's always a general Direct in September. We're close to September. Could be that. Could be a partner showcase Direct like they did in February. They did call that a Direct. Maybe there's 5 possibilities. It could be a Zelda Direct. They haven't done a dedicated game Direct yet this year, and they usually do one per year. So that's a possibility, especially the Echoes of Wisdom on demo coming up at PAX West. Could make sense to do a Zelda Direct right before then. Or they have technically called Pokemon Presents Pokemon Directs before. So there could be a Pokemon Direct. Now, I'll just give my personal opinion. I think the Pokemon Direct's the least likely, even though it's August and they usually do something with Pokemon in August, not just Worlds. But I just don't think they have a game coming this year that they want at market. So I just don't think they need it. I think it would have been
They did a lot of marketing with TCG already.
Yeah. I think that's their big I think that's their big release this year for like money making wise is the TCG on the phone. So I personally don't think they have a game coming out this holiday, which by the way should make people happy because we should want Game Freak to take their time.
Yep.
So to me, it's a good thing that they don't have a game to market besides the TCG, which they did naturally at Worlds, which made the most sense to market that there. That's literally the audience that plays the game. So I think we're probably not going to get a Pokemon Presents or a Pokemon Direct. But I think all the other ones are on the table. Now, an important note about this was back in May, Brazil said he had heard the June Direct was going to be the last Switch dedicated direct. Not the last direct with Switch games, but the last Switch dedicated direct. Now, I don't know if you just meant that for first party. Like, we have a partner direct this month. It's probably all Switch games. But I think he was obviously talking from Nintendo first party perspective. It might be the last direct for that. Now, what I find interesting about that is he said, however, he had heard that there will still be another partner direct this year. And he said that, however, because obviously that would be for Switch games. So maybe that's what this is the partner direct. Or maybe Nintendo's like, hey, we're going to make it a mini because we got a couple first party announcements we want to make. And we want to fill out February and March for something for Switch. What do you guys feeling? One, on it actually happening this month, and two, on what it might be. Don't everyone jump at once. Don't everyone get excited at one time. And it's still, what is happening?
I could see.
That's it. You're all fired from the show. It's time for me to add some new.
I could see the direct happening this month. I do put stock into those rumors from PH Brazil. And I follow him on Twitter now after you'd brought him up before. And I always translate his posts.
Yeah.
So I'm always following what he's got to say. And I don't know why we wouldn't take him or anyone wouldn't take him seriously. And like you said, he has the badges, the press, credentials, and a lot of stuff that he said has been accurate. And even like you said in your video, Nate, things change. Like, he may have had correct information on something at some point, and then something changed, and now it looks like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
All the stuff that
I'm not buying that.
He's right on is like when he says something's about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. When it's close.
Everything else is
like
kind of
this.
He knows a developer that has a game in an indie world that's supposed to happen sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, yeah, but things could change and that can get moved around. And I think that's what he got caught in earlier this year with the whole April and June thing was kind of like, yeah, he had heard some things, but it was from reliable developers. But he's just like, yeah, but it wasn't locked in because it was too far out. Like, the things could change.
That's the thing. Things change. We all know that. And what you mentioned too is that him saying that we're going to have another direct, and with it being today, the 21st.
It's next week.
Yeah, this is obviously as close as proximity as you're going to get. And when he makes predictions, when it's close in time, like we are now, it's usually right. So all the factors are pointing towards, we should get a direct this month. Now, what kind of direct is it going to be? When was the last Indie World?
April?
Yeah, I feel it was April.
I think it was April.
So, of course, Indie World's a possibility.
Yeah, I didn't throw that one out there because if we're believing there might be one this month because of him, he also said this month that the Indie World's in next month. So
if it's next month, I think it kind of revolves around Switch 2 and when we're going to get that announcement.
So next week is also PAX West.
Yes.
We know that they're there. We know they have a booth.
Yes. We know what
Maybe
the demos are.
Yeah, they have they said the demos.
Yep.
Maybe they have something else that they're gonna bring to PAX West.
Oh no.
And that's why they haven't said anything yet.
Ooh,
are you going there? What is this?
Yeah.
Something else?
Something else? I don't know. I want to say Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Or some type of remaster that we haven't seen yet.
Wind Waker Twilight.
Wind Waker Twilight, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would do that with Echoes of Wisdom so close.
I don't think they would. I'm totally joking.
What if
I would buy it.
What if they did it like they did, what was it, with Wind Waker back in the day? It's a collector's thing.
Oh.
If with a special edition version of Echoes of Wisdom. That would make people excited, but pissed off at the same time because it also means this limited edition, which is like, limited edition to play Wind Waker Twilight Princess HD on Switch. What the fuck?
So we got Tokyo Game Show, of course, coming up on the 26th of September as well. That same day Zelda comes out.
Yeah, exact same day. Yep.
So that's the 26th through the 29th. You know, I kind of look at there's so many rumors to kind of factor in. Like the parts going into production.
Sure. Yep.
I mean, we all know what happens. Pictures get taken, they get put online.
Yeah, the moment it hits assembly,
Yeah.
it's over. It's
And
getting
we've
online.
talked about it. All of us have that Nintendo has to control the narrative.
Mhm.
And not just Nintendo, any company would want to control the narrative. And if we're really right there and we're getting close to that, then I have to imagine that the Switch 2 is going to be revealed very soon. Very soon. Like
Next week soon? You think that
possibly.
soon? Oh my
Possibly.
God, I might die.
Right?
Woo! I like that one.
I wouldn't say no. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all
That makes
because
sense.
if it's
That would
not
make me
next
feel
week,
good. I predicted an August reveal. I'll take it.
I could see September if not, or October.
Yeah,
But
what if
next week's just as fine?
Switch 2.
Oh my God. Now I'm hyped. Now that's what's happening.
Now that's what's happening.
No,
I'm not going to bet because I'm bad at bets. now.
No. I also don't think. What is it? Because you lost some recent stuff.
Yeah, I've
You're no longer always right.
I'm not undefeated anymore. What if it's Captain Toad too? That's what they're revealing next week.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
It's a good game.
Yeah. What if it's just a direct to say, hey, tune in next month for the reveal?
Oh no.
They call that a direct. That I don't think that would be a direct.
Funny as hell
And
stupid.
look, here's the way I look at it. If we get a direct next week, I think there's no more directs the rest of the year.
If it's a single game direct, I could see
Even
another
then,
one after that.
I don't think they will. Now, this is just my personal opinion, of course. Now, I'm of belief that it might be a partner showcase direct, which I know is like the most disappointing direct that people, oh, geez, it's not even Nintendo. So I'm like, yeah, we got Endless Ocean Luminous last time. You don't know. Be a third party.
How'd that one do?
It was fine. It was fine. It's right around the other Endless Ocean games. Like, it's a very niche product. But I look at it as like there could be, put it this way, a partner showcase could be another Hyrule Warriors. That could be in there. Or Fire Emblem Warrior, or Xenoblade Warrior. It could be some sort of Warriors game. Could be in there. So there could be some exciting announcements that involve Nintendo IP in a partner direct. But the reason I think it might be a partner direct is I don't think they need a direct to advertise Echoes of Wisdom, Jamboree, or Brothership. I kind of feel like they could just do those on their own, like just individually, not as like directs, but like just keep marketing it with new trailers. They have the demos, obviously, and all that stuff. So I don't really feel like they need that extra marketing. And then definitively we know there's an announcement about the Nintendo Switch successor by March. So why would you do a general direct right now? Usually the September direct would advertise the holiday lineup a little bit, maybe announce a new special edition system sometimes, but then and give you new NSO stuff. But mostly the September direct was setting up the beginning of the next year. But if we know Switch 2 is giving a major announcement by March, by the end of the fiscal year, then why would they try to set up something that's going to be overshadowed by something else? That doesn't make any sense. They could do it, by the way. Nintendo can do whatever the hell they want. But I think a Nintendo Direct Mini or a partner showcase are like the two most likely. The reason I'm going to go away from the Zelda Direct is I just don't feel like they need it when PAX West is about to happen and we're about to have hours and hours and hours and hours of footage all over the internet.
They also been tweeting a lot about
They've been tweeting a lot about it. They had the official website that added a whole bunch of stuff. They're consistently marketing. I don't really know that we need a Zelda Direct.
I don't think we
Maybe
do.
it's to reveal the amiibo. Maybe there's an amiibo coming out. And that's all it is. It's just a direct.
Well, did you guys see that Best Buy is re-releasing all of the like Zelda amiibos, and they put up the Link's Awakening amiibos for pre-order
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and then it was revealed that all of these Zelda amiibos will work with the new Zelda game. I felt like if we were gonna get Echoes amiibos, that would have been the right time, the appropriate time probably to say, hey, we're getting amiibos. But we're five weeks out from launch, so now I'm thinking we're probably not getting amiibos, right? I think we would have known by now. If you look at Tears of the Kingdom, we knew those went up for pre-order right when the game did. So I would like to get amiibos for it. That'd be cool, but not sure we'll get any. Also, we have the Switch Lite bundle. I just feel like you guys said, we don't need a mini direct or game specific direct for Zelda. I think they had a good amount of spotlight. The Nintendo first party titles, Mario and Luigi, Jamboree, and Zelda. And yeah, we'll probably get a little bit more information, maybe a couple more trailers as we get close to each game, but I'm not expecting anything much more than that. I just don't know that it's needed.
So for me, like, I'm kind of all the thing I think that most likely is the partner direct. I think that he was probably correct earlier this year when he heard that there was going to be another partner direct, that we're not going to get another Switch direct, which would be a general direct, by the way, unless the general direct has the Switch 2 announcement in it, which Nintendo's never announced a new generation in a Switch or a new generation in a direct, but they could.
We've only had 2 generations, and
we've only had Wii U, which existed like right when they were coming up with directs, and then E3 was still like a thing. That's where they announced Wii U, and then Switch. Well, yeah, Switch was they announced it in their own different ways. So there's only really been one generation that they could have announced in a direct. They have announced new additions and new versions, but they've never announced a new system. I like when people bring that up. I'm like, yeah, but the only time they could have announced a brand new generation was Switch. So like they've only really had one opportunity to do that. And I don't know if you guys remember, the guy who hosted all the Nintendo Directs, he kind of died in 2015. So like we need to remember that that was a very unfortunate and very awkward time for Nintendo internally. So who's to say that the plan wasn't originally to reveal it in a direct? We don't know. I kind of feel like if Iwata was alive, it probably would have been revealed at the E3 that year, 2016, especially since, they were already going to discontinue Wii U. But, they were in flux then. So they waited, and it worked out. They announced it in October instead.
I don't know about you guys.
Revealed in October.
We talked about the whole, there won't be a Switch successor announcement tweet that they had to do for the museum, and they did it for I think the June Direct as well. I get annoyed when I see it. Like, I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah, I see people in the chat going like, Iwata used to host them. Yeah, the big directs. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He we had some other smaller directs that sometimes it'd be like Reggie hosting or like your localization person for that given direct. But when it was like the big boy directs, it was always.
And he was on stage at E3.
Yeah.
Speaking English. He didn't have a translator.
Nope.
I got something. October 2nd. Like, why don't you announce Switch 2 at the museum on October 2nd? I mean, if you have Switch 2 stuff,
grand opening.
Yeah, if you have Switch 2 stuff in there and you have it covered up right now and you plan, like, if you're opening it to the public, you're going to have to remove the curtain. Why not October 2nd?
I mean, or they could just reveal it before October 2nd.
Sure. Makes me feel confident though that it could be, it could and should be before October 2nd, right?
October 2nd at the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Man. I think this is gonna be a partner direct. I just got a feeling, which will disappoint people. But it should actually secretly excite you because one, that gives Brazil a double win for calling the partner direct back in May, plus saying there was another direct this month, and it still is a direct. It just might not be the direct you want. But then that means his Switch 2 information that seems to be about because remember, he what he said is these two events were supposed to be late September. And if you think about it, we got the museum direct. That could have been late September. It's opening October 2nd. That it would have made perfect sense if it was late September. Hey, let's advertise this thing we're opening in a couple weeks. Yeah, I can believe that. Perfect sense to me. You probably do it the week before Echoes of Wisdom and Tokyo Game Show, so you can have all the highlight on you. And yeah, a couple weeks out, come check out our museum. I would make sense. But we're revealing it now instead. Why do you move it to now? Oh, this partner direct. Oh, you could have did it in September. Remember the last partner direct took place in the same month they usually do general directs. So why isn't the partner direct in September? There's not like a real big reason. There's not some massive game coming out that needs to have the partner direct right now. So why is the partner direct now and not in September? Oh, maybe we got to clear out a time slot because, as Brazil said, the time. What was the exact word? God, I don't have it open right now. I'm going to open up my own damn video for this. Just because there's so many links. There's so much stuff. Let's see here. It is. It's even the right video. This isn't even the right video. Hold on. It's my video from today that has everything. By the way, if you guys didn't see my video today, not only does it contain the Nintendo Direct stuff, it contains a comprehensive deep dive into everything Brazil has said this year for you to make your own decisions on if you think that he's legit or not. And this is just this year. I didn't dive into his background at the other websites because, my God, he's worked at some massive outlets, and I have a hard time searching through because I got to search in Portuguese to find him. And look, I don't speak Portuguese, all right, so it's hard for me to dig through his old reports. But there is this thing here. Okay, there it is. It's right here. The exact words were, Nintendo seems to have brought forward some plans regarding Switch 2's release schedule. And the first thing in that release schedule was obviously revealed, right? So they brought forward. That means it's happening sooner than they planned. So what if they planned for it to be October? And they're like, no, we need to do it in September. I kept thinking, and I said, I brought this up in one of my videos. Why would they do it in September? Well, I mean, hello, there's Tokyo Game Show, where while Nintendo only does business meetings there, their biggest partners in their backyard are there. Heck, Microsoft's there. But beyond that, Capcom. Capcom, remember, was rumored to be the reason Switch had 4 gigabytes of RAM. Because they had a dev unit, and they came back to Nintendo and they said, man, they had 2 gigs. Hey, you got to give us 4 gigs. We need at least 4. If you want this, you want that Monster Hunter game return, we need 4 gigs. Okay. That's reportedly what happened. Obviously, we've never had that officially confirmed. But we know Capcom's a huge partner for them. We know Koei Tecmo, Bandai Namco, huge part. Bandai Namco has literally teams dedicated to making Nintendo games.
Yep.
They got a 2-studio thing that's nothing but making Nintendo games. Bandai Namco, there at Tokyo Game Show. Square Enix, who just said they're taking everything multi-platform and has made exclusive games for Switch, there at Tokyo Game Show. What if, they found out that Nintendo, because Nintendo told them, because some of their games are going to be in, the new Monster Hunter might be in it or something like, and they're like, hey, we're going to be doing big blowouts for these games at Tokyo Game Show. We really if you're going to reveal this thing a couple weeks after Tokyo Game Show, can you maybe reveal it right before Tokyo Game Show? Because we would like to put your logo in our trailers and your logo on our stuff. We think it would be mutually beneficial for all of us. When we're talking about these 2025 games at Tokyo Game Show, we want your new system that's going to be out when these games come out. We want your system to be part of our marketing. And look at what the marketing you would get from us in return. because like we're also helping market your future. And then Nintendo might have been, all right, well, then we need to bring our plans forward a little bit. Ah, shit. Well, we had these things we were going to do in September. Well, we could just move those. Let's move those to August. Let's think, maybe we're going to do an Indie World in August, and we decide, you know what? Let's move the Indie World to like the very beginning of the month. And then in like week 3, let's drop the Switch 2 reveal. Which, by the way, if they do that, there'll be still enough time between then and Tokyo Game Show to still market Echoes of Wisdom. Because I don't know if you guys agree with this. I think if Nintendo does reveal Switch 2 in 2024, I do not think they are going to talk about it at all beyond investors' meetings publicly again until 2025. Like they're just going to drop the reveal and then just be quiet about it.
Yeah. I could see them not talking about it until January.
So if that's the case, once it's revealed, third parties can talk all they want.
Yeah.
So this could literally be, hey, here's the reveal. Immediately after the reveal, we're back to the week lead up advertisement for Echoes of Wisdom. Meanwhile, Echoes of Wisdom comes out. It's selling well. Everyone's happy. Oh, hey, all this news is coming out of Tokyo Game Show about Switch 2. All these games are coming to Switch 2. Switch 2 is looking like really impressive. Hey, you're getting Visions of Mana. Hey, you're getting Monster Hunter. Hey, you're getting this. Hey, you're getting that. Oh, man, they just announced part 3 of the Final Fantasy VII remakes. Oh, hey, by the way, they just announced there that part 1 and part 2 are coming to Switch 2 in 2025. Whoa. What do you mean? Those are PS5 games on Switch 2. How awesome that marketing would be for everyone involved. And I do think we've had a lot of reports about how excited third parties are about Switch 2. Mm. Like they think this thing's going to be big. Like this isn't like Switch. They're betting big. Our friend of the channel, Paul Gale Network, was on a couple episodes ago talking about the people he talked to that were not excited about Switch in 2017 and regret that they didn't bet big on Switch are betting big right now on Switch 2. And now look at PS5. Its sales are lagging behind PS4, only by a couple million, but we're halfway through the gen. That could be 10 million by the end of the gen. You know, they might barely cross 100 million, which probably is still a hell of a lot of systems. To be clear, 100 million. Like the fact that they do that like every generation is insane. Xbox, Xbox is not doing as well. Maybe better than the Xbox One because that wasn't a great gen for them, but Switch is on pace to be the best-selling system ever released, like ever, for dedicated gaming platforms. So I feel like if these companies are all excited, and we're hearing this from Western studios, what do you think the Japanese studios are thinking? They did one. You want to sell games in Japan? You better be on Nintendo. You better be on a Nintendo system if you want big sales in Japan. So I kind of feel like it's a possibility that Nintendo has those tight relationships. And the reason that Brazil said this whole moving forward thing is because they called in they called in their card and they said, hey, come on. What's a couple of weeks going to hurt you? Oh, you got a Zelda game. It's Zelda. It's going to sell. No one, look, we know this thing has backwards compatibility. People are still going to buy Zelda. You don't worry about it. Just get this reveal out there. Like Zelda we think is reveal proof. Don't worry about it. So that, and then obviously, he said, that show he did about 10 days ago is obviously one of the last shows. One of the last, not the last. People took that wrong as, it's the last show. No. One of the last. So, what does that mean? That's a whole subjective thing. I'm just saying. We got the museum coming up, which might have some Switch 2 stuff in it potentially. We don't know, or at least placeholders for it once it launches. We have, obviously, the fact that Nintendo themselves has already said it's being announced this fiscal year. We have the fact that Nintendo keeps having to warn on every single goddamn event they do that it's not there, which means they're forced to keep bringing it up. And on top of that, what do we know is happening in 2025? We know about Metroid Prime 4 and Legends EA some point next fiscal year. And we got DK early January. Feels like they're trying to clean up the slate a little bit here.
100%.
So, and again, the whole thing is,
Good.
if we have that, like, this is why this matters for this direct topic, regardless of what type of direct it is. But if there's a direct next week, it makes this seem correct, which means Switch 2 is being revealed at bare minimum in 2024. Ah! You
I
guys
just
are
want it to be revealed. Like I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of it.
Yep.
Sick of all the
I'll make a
rumors.
I should make this promise. I'll just make a Switch 2 video every day till they
Yeah.
till they reveal the damn thing. Of course,
Till they have to. They're like Nintendo Prime made another one.
Isn't that what I'm doing anyways, chat? Switch 2 video every day. Switch 2 topic every week on the podcast until reveal. Act like it's a threat. I will not stop talking about this thing until you. And then when you reveal it, I'm going to keep talking about it.
Great.
You know what's interesting? Even when like we have a direct, I'm pretty sure Switch 2 trends on X on Twitter. So
All
it
the
doesn't
time.
matter.
All the
Like
time.
it's
All
gonna
the time.
trend no matter what.
It's always trending.
All the time.
Almost every day.
Number one here. Oh, hold on. I got to show this. No, this isn't specifically the Switch 2, but if this happens, it's about the direct. It might as the next thing that's going to trend right after a direct gets announced next week will be Switch 2 in September, because everyone's going to believe it's happening in September. Let me share my trending now thing here. Is it up on? Yeah. Nintendo Direct scheduled for August. Stories for you. This is right there. It's happening right now. This whole Nintendo Direct next week, it's literally trending right now. And it's like, man, you think about that. After this supposed Direct gets revealed, and it'll have its time in the sun, the trend. Next up is going to be Switch 2 is being revealed in September, trending because these two things were called by this Brazil person. And he was the only one saying it. Nobody else said we were getting events this month besides the Pokemon Presents being speculated. So
I think what people are actually excited for, people don't care about the system. They want the games. Like we're not getting any of the big games until another system comes out. We're not getting a 3D Mario. We're not getting a Mario Kart. We're not getting Animal Crossing.
But we got Jamboree. Dude, they do 3 of those every gen.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's what people really want. And that's what I really want. Like I couldn't care less if the Switch 2 was as powerful as a potato with a light bulb. I just want new iterations of the games I love. Like Odyssey, it's been 7.5 years or almost 7 years, whatever it is. Mario Kart 8, I mean, we've been playing since Wii U. I know we got a ton of new tracks, but it's still the same game.
It's been a decade.
Decade strong, too.
Yeah, a strong decade, yeah.
Strong, yeah. That is a fantastic Mario Kart. That's my favorite.
Hey, we only sold 70 million copies in 10 years. Jesus Christ.
I think we got plenty of games, to be honest with you. Like,
well, the Switch does.
Yeah.
Well, it's the particular games, right? It's their flagship games.
Yeah, Nintendo has a lot of we only do our biggest of the big once per generation kind of thing. And I think that's what it's like. Hey, we already had all that happen, and we're ready for it to happen again.
I mean, stuff to hold us over, like good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Brothership is good stuff. Zelda's good stuff. Dragon Quest 3 HD is going to be badass. I have that pre-ordered.
That's going to be massive in Japan. Holy shit.
Oh, dude.
They might launch records.
Yeah. And,
I mean, those are all well and good.
Over there.
They're all well and good, and I'll play them, but I just want a new 3D Mario.
Yeah. It's not Nintendo's heaviest of heavy hitters. Like you look at the Nintendo Switch top 10 selling list, and outside of Pokemon games that are fairly regular, it's well, Breath of the Wild came out at launch. Okay, Tears of the Kingdom did come out last year. That was cool, but the next 3D Zelda is a long ways away.
Like Smash has even been 5 years.
2018, you know.
Yeah. And to your point, John, I agree with you. I want all those too, man.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
It all comes back around, and that's really exciting. And then on top of that, Nintendo every gen tends to like bring out some new IPs, and that's always exciting to see what they're going to do with that. Get into a new gen with some new IPs. And this generation, Nintendo evolved some of their IPs. Look what they did with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like, what's the next franchise they're going to evolve on Switch 2? Are they going to bring back Star Fox and evolve that?
Yeah, we haven't even seen a Star Fox. We haven't seen a new Donkey Kong. We haven't seen, F-Zero's still lingering out there. Punch Out.
So I know, obviously, guys, over the last couple of years, we spent so much damn time constantly talking about the hardware and the features we want and when it's going to be revealed, when it's going to launch. I get the conversation gets a little old, but we really want to talk about the games. And we've speculated, but that's all we've been able to do is speculate. I want to see Switch 2 games. I want to see the next 3D Mario because I
saw Metroid Prime 4.
We saw Metroid Prime 4, which is awesome. But technically still a Switch game. Probably cross-gen. We don't know. Might be a Switch 2 game. We might have already seen one. But we don't know. So, I need to see Yo Noid in 4K.
Oh, God. Hell yeah. Dream come true.
That'd be great, man. Man, Domino's brought him back temporarily for like a month. Should have lasted longer.
Yeah, it was exciting. Yeah.
Was really exciting. I'm like, yeah, there's the Noid. I'm like, how many people even remember this guy? Anyways, I think we could probably wrap up the show there and get to the Q&A section. I know this kind of came back full circle going back to talking Switch 2, but if you guys can't tell, like the problem with doing a Nintendo podcast right now is that we know in the next 7 months this is coming. Like in terms of being like revealed and announced. So it's so hard to talk about other stuff because one, we didn't get any like big exciting Echoes of Wisdom news outside of it. There's going to be a demo. What are we going to talk? Okay, there's a demo and it hasn't happened yet. So yeah, I could tell you right now, the podcast after PAX West, we will be talking about Echoes of Wisdom and the demo footage. Absolutely. But we don't have that right now. Yeah. We had the museum. Guess what? It was a whole topic. We talked about it. We played through it almost 2 times. We're in this period where it's like we're right before more marketing comes for Nintendo's upcoming games that we can actually talk about. So we're kind of in between there. And then on top of that, we keep getting all these reports, primarily from one person right now, about Switch 2 and Nintendo Directs. So that's what we're focusing on. It's kind of funny too. I'll end the topic like this. A lot of us Nintendo content creators over the last couple of months have put out like videos talking about how hard it's been this year to be a Nintendo content creator for those of us especially that cover news and stuff, because none of the games they released were like heavy hitting games. So even when we're doing coverage of them, people aren't really watching. Then we have this whole Switch 2 thing looming over us, especially after Nintendo put it out there. And views are just down, revenue's down, all this stuff. That's absolutely true. I am in the midst, just to be open and honest, I'm in the midst of my best month on the channel this year. This month would have ranked 11 out of 12 last year. So like, even though it's my best month, it's like not compared to last year. It barely ranks. So I say all this because some people think it's convenient that the moment all these Nintendo YouTubers talk about this, all these Switch 2 rumors come up. Now everyone's talking Switch 2 and everyone's getting views. And it's like, it was a coincidence. We don't control the rumor mill. I didn't make PH Brazil go out and start talking about Switch 2. I didn't like hit him up on my phone and be like, hey man, you got to drop some shit. I didn't make Nintendo do a direct museum thing. Nintendo just like, it's all coincidence. And even then, if Switch 2 is not revealed this year, we're kind of about to enter another dry period for a few months. So like, this is all temporary because guess what happens if there's no direct next week, there's no direct next month, and there's no Switch 2 reveal. We don't have anything to talk about, and no one's going to
Echoes of Wisdom.
No one, Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah, but like no one's going to want to listen anymore because it's just it's another hype period that turned out to be nothing. Of course, you guys all know at this point, I just move on to the next thing to get hyped about. I'm hyping irresponsibly all the time. Oh, I was sad. Oh, we didn't get our Direct next week. That's all right, baby, because that means we're getting that traditional Nintendo Direct in September, right, baby? Let's go. I move on to the next thing. That's how I avoid being disappointed for too long, because there's always something coming. Echoes of Wisdom for sure is coming.
There is. There's a lot to be positive about.
Let's go ahead and get to the questions here. First one comes in a long time ago, coming from Christian's second account. Apparently, I don't know what you did to your first one, man. Did you guys see that Borderlands 4 got announced?
Mm-hmm. I did.
Perfect timing too, with an amazing movie out at the same time. Perfect.
That was the plan. The plan was that the movie would be so well received, and then we dropped the game, and everyone's excited. We're gonna.
I saw the opposite. I saw somebody say that the movie was so bad that would cause people to go back to play the games, to remember how good the games were.
Yeah, it's kind of like because the opposite happened with the Fallout show. The Fallout show came out and it was so good, everyone started playing the games again. Even like Fallout 76 started getting peak numbers because the show was so damn good. And then new Fallout gets announced. It's like, yeah, of course, perfect time to announce a new Fallout because the show is doing amazing. This is a bad time to announce a new Borderlands because the movie was panned and isn't doing well.
Did you guys? I just looked it up. 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god!
I did go see it.
Reception?
I know you did. How was it?
It was okay. It wasn't good, but I don't think it was 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I've seen worse movies. But it definitely there. It was an ensemble cast, had big actors, but you didn't get to know any of them. You didn't really understand their motivations for anything. They didn't have any chemistry together, and it was just kind of a letdown.
Yeah. So so it's one thing that it's got 10% by the reviewers. I never really agree with the reviewers ever.
Same here.
But even like the people who watch the movie, it's a 53%, which is a very low for an audience. Like
I can see 53%, not 10%.
Yeah, 53% is the audience score, which sure, that's significantly higher than there, but like the audience score is almost always higher than the review scores. But it's like that's still, if you go and click on different movies on Rotten Tomato, like that's a very low audience score. That's a very high dissatisfaction rate among people that went. Think about it. It's basically 50% of the people that went fucking want their money back. That's not good.
I don't regret seeing it. It was fine. It was fine.
And see, this is one of those know how people would probably accept this if it was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, probably.
Then they'd be fine
straight to Netflix or something.
Yeah, straight to whatever. And it was never meant to be like this big theatrical thing. Because hey, if you're going to the theaters these days, you got to bring the goods. Movies are still doing really good in the theaters. They're bouncing back, but they got to actually be good.
So it's popcorn buckets.
This is popcorn buckets, yeah. But no, I saw the Borderlands 4 got announced. I remember my reaction to it because I was live streaming and I sat there. I'm like, okay, because it initially pops up. There's no gameplay. I'm like,
exactly.
So it comes out next year.
No, and there's some references, and it didn't even look like a Borderlands game. And then they dropped the logo. I'm like, okay, so this is basically Metroid Prime 4 2017. You told us nothing. This was a nothing burger. And the funny thing is, you knew at this point that the movie wasn't reviewing well, and then you chose to unveil Borderlands 4 without gameplay to make people feel good about the IP again with great gameplay. You should just not talk about this game right now, man.
And it looks like they're going away from their cel-shaded look. It looks like they're going realistic
because it's CGI. So are they? We didn't actually see the game. We saw a pre-rendered CGI, which might not even be in the final game. So it's like I think it's the worst way to show a game. I think there are times that you could just say we're working on this game that's really exciting. I think there are moments for that where it can make sense to just let people know that you're making something. But they made a big deal. Even Jeff Keighley, like, oh man, this hasn't leaked. And I'm like, well, no shit, it hasn't fucking leaked. There's nothing to leak.
I know.
What? That it exists? That, oh my God, coming off a movie, they're going to make another Borderlands? Well, how about the fact that Borderlands 3 sold well? So of course they're going to make another Borderlands. Like, it was obvious Borderlands wasn't ending. So anyway, it's just a bad time to announce it. I'm sure in the end, the game will probably be pretty good because the first 3 were like not just pretty good, like really good. So it's like 4 is probably going to be good. But what if it's not? The movie doesn't instill faith, but the movie's not a game. So like some movies, people screw up. I mean, the Borderlands movie, I haven't seen it, but I've had some friends who have it who just told me how bad it is. And I sat there, I'm like, yeah, you know what it reminds me of? That used to be how we reacted to all movie adaptations of video games. Like it was all just kind of like, it's okay at best.
That's what I was wondering too.
Like it's just okay at best. And maybe the best example of like it might be a little better than okay if you like the actresses and actors would be like Laura Croft. The Tomb Raider movies back in the day. Like, yeah, they were not like great, but they were better than a lot of the other garbage we were getting. That was live action renditions of video. So it's kind of like it kind of felt like they were maybe better than they really were. But then also if you liked Angelina Jolie and she's a pretty good actress back then, and you like some of the it's okay. But
yeah. There's a comment in the chat that I find funny because the producer of Borderlands is Avi Arad, and he is the producer of Zelda.
Yep.
So, man, I hope Miyamoto just puts a chokehold on them.
I'm not worried about the Avi Arad stuff. I'm just not.
He doesn't have a good rap sheet.
He doesn't have a good rap sheet for anything that's not Marvel. He has a good rap sheet if you include all his Marvel movies. Into the Spider-Verse and the sequel, that was him. He was the number 1 producer on it. He was the producer on No Way Home.
Those were great.
Very good track record with like some of the very best Marvel movies made for the MCU. He was the guy that was the producer. So that he's got a good track record with. The problem is it's all his non-Marvel stuff just hasn't really hit. He's got one that did okay, and then a bunch that just were kind of like Borderlands. Like it just didn't go well. Whether it's his fault directly, whether he just hired the wrong director for the project, like it just wasn't, because the director controls the vision and the artistic and how it plays out, but his job's more like controlling the budget and trying to make sure he hires the right script people. But he's also, I will say, he's co-director. There's not a single decision Avi's going to make that Miyamoto doesn't approve of. Now, Miyamoto's also never made a live action movie. He also never made an animated one either, and the Mario movie turned out all right. So, turned out better than all right. I'm not going to say that's the greatest movie ever, but I mean, that Mario movie, look, I had low expectations, and so it massively exceeded that.
Wasn't it the most successful animated movie of all time up until Inside Out 2 this summer?
No, it was like second or third because it was chasing Lion King for a while.
I think it was behind Frozen 1 or 2 and Lion King. So I think it was like number 3.
I don't remember where it ended up. All I know is it kicked major ass.
It's because that dog scene. It didn't get there because that dog scene. I hate the dog scene.
It's the only animated movie to like reach those heights that's not Disney or Pixar, right? It's impressive.
I love how CJ every day he brings up like the Marvel movies of his that weren't very good. Yeah, now go look at his total catalog. You're just ignoring literally all his good stuff to make art. Like when people bitched about him, the first thing I did is look up every movie he's been a producer on, and there's a lot of really good movies in there.
I mean, I have more faith in Wes Ball than.
Well, Wes Ball hasn't made an absolutely terrible movie yet. Maze Runners were all good. They're not like you're not winning awards, but they were good. And for being like book adaptions and stuff, I think a fairly successful book adaptation, and it was good enough to have a trilogy, and it has its audience. And if you guys ever watch Maze Runner, they're good movies. They're good flicks. They're the kind of movies you go to and you don't regret it.
And the new Planet of the Apes movie's pretty decent.
That was pretty good too. It wasn't like the home run, but it wasn't bad. So he just hasn't done a bad movie yet. So I have faith in him. Plus, obviously, he's a big Zelda fan. I'm like, yeah, being a big Zelda fan doesn't necessarily, like, maybe it's a bad thing. I have no idea. I don't know.
I think it's a good thing.
We'll see what happens. All I hope is that all Avi's doing is just approving the budget. Sure, use $1 billion to make the movie. Okay, it's a little insane, man, but all right. Whatever you say, sir. Miyamoto, they're gonna find a way to de-age you. You are now like. I wonder, dude. I will say, because this is live action, do you think we get a Miyamoto cameo in the movie?
We should.
Like, I feel like, because that's like a very
He's
Marvel
Tingle.
thing to do with Stan Lee. Like, it would be really neat if he's just like some random side character or like in the background
Dude,
somewhere.
you know what character he could be?
Hmm.
He could be the old man that gives Link the sword.
Hmm.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take
Yeah,
this.
that would
That
be
could be
good.
his only line. He could be like hooded and kind of cloaked. You can't really see him well, probably, but it's him.
Yeah.
You look up and it's just like a little light fade goes across and the whole crowd goes, shit, that's Miyamoto. And then that's it. It's the only time you see him.
It'd be so cool.
All right, get to the next question here. We got in from Taker610. He said PCs are consoles that you can upgrade. Yes, pretty much. Consoles today are all PC components. I mean, so even Switch that's using ARM, it's using an APU, like that's laptops, all the handheld PCs out there. So it's absolutely PC tech. There was a time there was a starker difference. But that's not, between the technologies being used, but that's not the case today. They're all just PCs. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are literally using almost off-the-shelf AMD components that have just been downclocked in certain ways to fit in an APU. So yeah, you're pretty much right. I mean, I love PC gaming. I've always loved PC gaming. So I got nothing against it at all. So yeah, I mean, PCs are consoles you can upgrade. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I don't like PC gaming scares me. Like, I got the Steam Deck and I don't want to install any outside OSs. Like, I just want to download Steam games. But that's like what I like about consoles is they're plug and play. I don't have to worry about trying to upgrade them or trying
you don't have to upgrade Steam Deck. Steam Deck is Steam Deck is a console style PC. It's like perfect for you.
I know, that's why I have one.
You can go beyond it if you want, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I just like plug and play. I don't want to mess with settings. I don't want to mess with any of that stuff.
That's one of my favorite parts of PC gaming. I love fucking with settings.
It's just not like back in the day where you had to go like colon forward /run, and you had to go into DOS menu to run your games.
The DOS days. Oh man,
give the commands.
Oh dude, I remember doing that for some of the very early PC games.
I remember doing that for like Maniac Mansion.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
No, for sure that one.
Yeah,
the original Zork you had to do that for as well.
Oh yeah, Zork.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, right. You had to run that in DOS.
Yeah,
and when they finally gave you the GUI version, the Windows 95, you still had to load it in DOS. You couldn't load it in 95. You had to open up the command prompt, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
wild.
I remember that first time, like getting into DOS to run games and figuring all that out. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and then John Evo's over there, like, dude, all that sounds like fucking trash to me.
Yeah, no.
That's
not my jam.
That's for certain people that they like to fuck with shit. I love fucking with shit. So, all right. Next up here, I think this might be the last one, unless I missed one. We have Taker610 says, if GTA 6 comes to Switch 2, it's game over.
You did miss one.
I missed one? Okay, I'll try to find it.
That is a pipe dream. I would love it to happen, but I just don't think the console is going to be powerful enough.
I will say that I agree with you 100% that if it does, no doubt it's game over. It'd be great. Like everyone will begin to Switch 2 and play GTA on the go. No doubt. Yes, 100%. The question is if it can.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
they would bring 5 to Switch.
That's what I said. I said it last week too. I could see them bringing 5 because also it'll be funny. Like, how many years and how many ports later is GTA 5 still selling?
You know, I find it interesting when people talk about GTA 6. When I look back at the GTA series, I never remember it being a series that's like pushing the bleeding edge of stuff. Maybe I'm wrong.
The,
But I
the
don't
trailer looked like pretty photorealistic, so I think they're going.
Sure. But that was a trailer. There's a difference between like trailers and what the game actually is when you're playing it. And that trailer could literally be max settings on a PC running a 4090 for all we know. And that's not what it's going to look like on PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? Like I understand like just GTA. The reason I bring this up is why did GTA 5 blow up to 200 million sold? It's on fucking everything. I just don't see them making GTA 6 to be this bleeding edge thing that it can't be on everything. Like I feel like whatever they're doing with it must be highly scalable because they're eventually going to want to put it on phones and tablets. They are. That's a whole giant fucking audience of microtransactions for multiplayer. They're not going to want to be like, nah, we made this game impossible to run portably. No, man. Like they didn't do that with any of the other GTAs. Why would they do it with this one? Like, oh, whoa, well, it never came to Switch. Yeah, because they were one of the companies that didn't believe in fucking Switch. I mean, come on. They weren't doing shit with Switch back in 2017. They didn't give two flying fucks. They didn't think it was going to be anything. They were wrong. And I think in hindsight, they probably wish they had an early port of GTA 5. Because if they did, that could have been a 5, 10, 15 million seller for them with all the microtransactions.
Hey, we got LA Noir, all right? And we got Red Dead Redemption.
LA Noir with a big download required on the box.
And there's a rumor of Bully coming to modern consoles.
Yeah, supposedly it's part of they're doing like is it Rockstar Plus or something?
GTA Plus.
GTA, yeah.
It comes with it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming with that. So it's like not actually like a remaster or anything. It's just supposed to be part of that, supposedly. Who the hell knows?
Supposedly.
They haven't given all the details. So
yeah, I'm hoping there's more. We all are, right?
That's not what it is. Like, I mean, I'm happy for it to come back, but I just rather them like remaster it at least. But
I feel like there was news about Red Dead 2 at some point for Switch.
There was. I can speak on it a little bit because I talked about it publicly already. Red Dead Redemption 2 was in the works for Switch at one point. It wasn't like a full green light. It was like a small team, and they had it running. I don't know how well, but it was running. But it never got greenlit in the full development to actually like.
So that's guaranteed for Switch 2. Right? That's guaranteed.
Probably.
That's one of the games I think is going to be there day one.
Yeah, I
60 FPS.
I think it's a shoe-in. We have a couple another question here that I did miss earlier. Sorry about that, Mobo Dojo. Said this week live stream of Demon's Crest with Eric Moore exclusive on Nintendo Prime. Well, Eric, what do you say? You got challenged. Are you going to add to the 10 live streams this week?
Demon's Crest on Super Nintendo, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good game. Capcom.
Eric is speechless.
Yep.
You'd like it. Have you played it, Eric?
No.
No, he hasn't played that. I don't think. No.
Yeah. Hey, the Red Dead rumor or the Red Dead thing. So I saw something too, and I honestly thought maybe I was dreaming when you brought it up, Junks. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm just, on crack or something. I'm looking at it. I just Googled it. One day ago, rumors galore on Google, but it says, is Red Dead Redemption 2 finally coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S?
Yeah,
and it's saying it's coming March 2025.
These are all lining up.
Again, when's Switch coming out?
Everything's lining up like, hey, this game's coming spring. This game's coming March. This game's coming. Well, shit. What is supposed to be releasing around then? It kind of.
Well, I brought it up a few times here when we've talked about it. I was saying that I find it odd that Red Dead 2 has yet to be upgraded on next-gen consoles to 60 FPS. And I got to imagine they're waiting on something. And that if it was running at 30 FPS on PS4, I got to believe it could run at 60 on Switch 2 with DLSS. which would be I mean, that'd be badass, right?
I wonder how Red Dead 1 sold on Switch. It's like the only way to play portably.
Well,
I
Steam
guess.
and all the other.
Well, legally, the only way to because it's not on Steam. Like Red Dead's not on Steam.
Yeah, there's other handheld PCs that have Windows.
Does that have? Well, Steam Deck is the only one that matters. So yeah.
Steam Deck's the other thing. But no, my thing is the man, all these games are coming to Switch too, man.
All of them.
The launch is just going to be all the third-party games that we thought we were going to get on Switch 1. It's put
Those
on Switch
massive.
2.
I mean, I hope they at least put a week between releases. God, give me a chance to breathe a little bit.
What do you think of the Wii U? They had a bunch of third-party games. They had they had a Call of Duty at launch. They had a Mass Effect. They had Mass Effect 3. Batman. Like
Batman that didn't run very well. They had Madden that was actually a year-old version and wasn't actually the current Madden.
Zombie U.
Zombie U.
Zombie U was good though.
It was actually good.
Yeah, so I
But
think
looking at
the
my games.
EAs of the world are going to change their mind and they're going to have stuff at launch.
I think Star Wars Outlaw is going to make its way to Switch too.
There's that, and then Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows is like rumored to
Shadows.
be coming. And older Assassin's Creed as well. They always re-release those all the time. I mean, we got some of the older ones on Switch. Like, yeah, we're gonna get some of the older ones on Switch too for sure. And when I say older ones, I mean like ones that are like 3 years old. Like they'll re-release them on Switch too.
We got the cloud versions already. We're good.
Stop.
Yeah.
If you bought the cloud versions of those games,
one thing about it. Square
Cloud
Enix,
version of what?
Please get native versions of Kingdom Hearts on Switch too.
yeah.
Oh, dude,
stop
that's
this
coming
cloud
to
shit?
Switch physical. It's
If you
hands down. It's coming to Switch too.
if you bought the cloud versions of games, you better get if they re-release as
For free.
physical, you better get them for
Digital
free.
Copy. Like
You should.
Jesus, that was an insult, man.
Resident Evils, those are all coming. The remakes. Control's great. That's a great game. Control. I played it on PS5. That was a fantastic game.
Well, it's a cloud right now. You can play it on Switch right now. It's on cloud.
It is. It works all right on cloud, but it's some. You know what? Actually, the best cloud games I usually do like because almost all the cloud games you can do tests with them. You know, they let you test them out before you buy just to make sure like it actually can run for you, which I think is a smart thing to do because not everyone has the right internet and stuff to do it.
It's the right thing to do too.
It's the right thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how much
Like,
longer it's going to
great.
continue with cloud, but that's the way it has been on Switch, where you can actually trial a lot of these games before you decide to spend the money. You got to play them for like an hour or something. It's just literally just to test it out, make sure it runs. And out of all the ones that I have trialed, surprisingly, it's Resident Evil Village that runs best. It actually is like now obviously I have good internet, so you gotta have good internet, but it actually runs really well on Switch. So it's kind of proof, that and we see this something like Google Stadia games ran fine. Like if you got the right internet, cloud gaming is okay. I'll just say okay. It's never as good as. Yeah, I don't like seeing the little symbol like, oh, hold on, we got a buffer here while you're doing this thing because we got to make sure we're connected to the server. And I'm like, shut up. I'd rather just like put a cartridge in or at least load a digital copy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing about Switch too. I think, wait. Do you guys think cloud gaming is going to get bigger on Switch too?
When they put Game Pass on there, yeah.
Oh, you think they're going to do straight up Game Pass cloud gaming? They could.
Good, yeah.
They did on the Amazon
Skip all the
Fire Stick.
Skip all the ports, just cloud it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to see the numbers on cloud gaming, like how many people actually bought.
I want to see like the
the
numbers that are using some of the service ones, like the Xbox one or the what is it, Amazon Luna? I think that one's still running. I'd like to know like what what the actual user base is of those, like how big it is. Is it like a couple thousand, is it hundreds of thousands? Is it in the millions? I feel like it was in the millions. We probably would have heard those numbers. But I'm just kind of curious because like Google Stadia couldn't get a big enough audience, but I also think Google Stadia's problem was they were selling the games for full price. It wasn't a service. I think cloud only works as a service. You got to be able to get a bunch of games for relatively cheap per month, and people will be willing to try it out then. If you're going to charge full price for things that when the service is gone, you don't own anymore, people ain't going to want to invest in that kind of stuff. Because Google, as I said, I've been at coffee shops and had a good experience with Google Stadia. Google Stadia worked. It's just, God, that
I like
price-
when they gave me all my money back,
You
even
know,
like 3 years later.
yeah,
That was nice.
the refund. Yeah, that was that. Hey, by the way, Google did a good thing by the consumer with that. That like never happens. You think
Yeah.
about all the products they trash after a year. How many people get their money back? Like nobody.
I agree, and I didn't have one, but just seeing that news come out, I was like, good on you. That's cool, dude.
I think the refunds were one, try to avoid massive backlash. But two, I also believe because the Google Stadia technology, if you guys didn't know, it didn't go away. They licensed it out. So there's like other companies using it. So I kind of feel like they maybe had a licensing deal in place before they canceled. So they already had like a big influx of money for the tech. So they were just like, yeah, okay, we'll just use some of this and refund people. We actually didn't lose any money, so we're good.
No, Taker brought in another one.
What?
There's one last one.
Oh, there's another. Well, we also have Boo Many
Oh.
gifted a membership, and that membership ended up going to Luigi.
Nice.
We have one last one here. Unless again, you guys are super chatting more. It's up to you guys. The Q&A goes as long as there's questions. Taker's not even giving questions. He's just making statements. Some bro on last week equals redhead redemption.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm gonna have to send that clip to him.
I love it.
Send
That is
clip to him.
fantastic.
Oh, that's great. All right. I think that's the end of the questions.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and go around the room. Let people know what we got going on, where they can find us, and yeah, we'll just end this shindig. Eric, what do you got going on?
I'm here, and then
You're
got
not.
some things in the works with you.
Are you
but-
here next week?
Yeah, I think I should be.
Okay, because I thought that was the day you
No,
thought you might miss.
It's scheduled on Tuesday. Should be done Tuesday.
Okay,
I should be back for Wednesday though. So
cool, perfect. Thunderstash.
Hey guys. All right. So I just posted 3 new videos today.
You did
posted-
3?
I posted three videos all at 4:00. It's the Legend of Zelda, regular Nintendo, but it's the Super Nintendo port. So I'm literally playing the original Zelda on Super Nintendo with the MSU1 chip. And so it's got a fully orchestrated soundtrack for the original Zelda. It actually uses the overworld theme from the Legend of Zelda cartoon. And it sounds amazing. Like literally, it sounds so cool. Then I did Zelda 2, The Adventure Link, and all these games that I played again and reviewed. I beat them as well. But I played that as well on Super Nintendo with the CD quality soundtrack. Amazing. And then the last one was A Link to the Past. And again, that takes advantage of the MSU1. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a fan-made enhancement chip that is supposed to emulate what the Super Nintendo CD would have been had it ever come out. It was something that was planned, just never came out. And so I played A Link to the Past with 108 new songs, fully orchestrated, CD soundtrack. So you have the same songs in the game, right? But they're fully orchestrated plus new songs. Like for example, you walk into the shop in A Link to the Past and it plays the shop music from Ocarina of Time. Like there's surprises everywhere. I'm like, this is so cool. And it was a very unique experience. So yeah, check out the reviews. Of course, I have the audio on. like up pretty loud actually in the reviews, so you can hear, try and experience what I'm talking about. That's it. That's it. I don't know what I'm gonna work on next. I'm gonna play. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna play Emio, the demo, because I have it pre-ordered, and if for some reason it don't click with me,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm gonna test that.
Or you get confirmed that you want it.
I hope so. And I did play the Visions of Mana demo on PS5. I wanted to test that out, and I did enjoy that. So
I'm avoiding it so much because I believe it's coming to Switch 2, and I'm like, I need to put it off. And if it doesn't come to Switch 2, by then it'll be cheap.
I'd be shocked if it didn't come to Switch 2. Like shocked.
Like, but I know if I touch the demo, I'm buying it.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm buying it right away.
Yeah, the combat's really cool.
I'm a huge Mana fan, so
there's a lot of strategy actually to the combat.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yes. All right. Then we got. By the way, I just realized what I'm binge watching tomorrow while I'm working on videos. I got back to back Thundercat. Well,
yeah,
videos. Shit.
Hell yeah,
dude.
Thanks, man.
And then after I watch each one, watch my socials. You might see a few links to his videos if they're badass, which they probably are, because every video I watch of his, I'm satisfied.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
John Nebo.
Yeah, I got into GameCube collecting just a few weeks ago because I sold my GameCube like 10, 15 years ago and all my games, and now I regret it. So now I'm recollecting, and it's super expensive.
Yes, it is.
The
GameCube's one of the hardest ones for.
I know it's hard to find stuff like in the wild. I know I could order it online, but that's just not as fun. So I've been trying to go to local shops, and I've gotten like Melee, Double Dash, a few of the bigger ones. But my holy grails are the Pokemon games, but I have to sell a kidney for those. They're expensive, and now if anybody knows me, I do not buy physical games like at all. My whole collection is digital, but doing this has changed my mind. I'm going to be buying physical games probably from now on. And you talked about Emio or Emio, however you say it. I don't care if I don't like that game or not. I'm buying it because it's going to be worth something, because like nobody's going to buy that game. It's going to be hard to find.
And you're supporting Nintendo, like, to do weird stuff, which is good.
Yeah, and I'll probably buy it twice because I'll probably buy it digitally and physically and just keep the physical one sealed.
I do so much of that. You guys know that, right? I'll buy it physically and keep it sealed, but buy it digitally and download it like right when I can, and I'll keep one sealed.
It's just so expensive. But like I blame Thunderstash for this because I saw a video of his talking about buying the Pokemon games physically on the Nintendo Switch, and I already got 4, and I have 2 more coming in.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna get all the Nintendo Switch Pokemon games because they won't go down in value.
No, they go up in value, man. They go up in value, or they hold value better than Toyota Tacoma.
See what people don't realize is when you see all the collectibles behind Thunderstash, and it's not even all of them. This is like a fraction. That's his retirement plan.
Dude,
he's set, man. He could sell it all and buy another fucking house.
Yeah, and I will say this though, like I'm not an eBay, so I've never sold anything on eBay.
Yeah,
I never sold anything anywhere. If I'm gonna sell something to somebody I know, I usually don't even sell it to them. I just give it to them for free, and I turn their money away. I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not in it to like screw people. Yeah, I got you that book.
This was a gift from Thunderstash. You just said to the house.
But yeah, I just want everyone to know, because sometimes people in my YouTube comments, or they'd think that like I'm the one ruining everything. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't even sell any of this. Nobody knows I have this unless you've watched my channel.
Wait, how would you be ruining it?
Because people think I like buy stuff and I'm gonna go like on eBay and try and screw somebody over. And charge like huge prices. Like, no, I don't do that. Like, this is to hold on to for like 20 or 30 years, man. And you know what? Hey, hopefully I just never need to do anything with that. And I can just pass this on to my kid if I have a kid, my godson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I
that
mean,
would
that's
be the
ideal.
hope.
You never need to sell it for any financial reason. Is it kind of nice in the back of the mind that, oh God, if something really fucking hits the fan in 20 years, I could? Yeah. Obviously. It's like an investment. But
it really is.
You would like to not have to do that. Yeah.
Right. And I worked in finance and for a long time. And the thing is that the stock market is not stable. That is a crapshoot. It's the same as going to Vegas for a lot of people. It's a crapshoot. The interest rates are not good at the banks for money market accounts. They're better right now because we're close to war. But you know, like that screws other things up. We get inflation, this and that. My point is that, hey, this is something I know like really well, video games. And so I know which games oftentimes to buy and that are going to go up in value. And to me, it's almost like video game stocks. And at the same time, you're helping these companies too.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of look at it as like a wins across the board. I'd rather do this than invest money, right? Into something that I'm completely unsure about in something that I am sure about, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that a
It doesn't
bad
make
thing?
sense.
Okay.
No. I think that people, there's a difference between scalping and even reselling. Like I wouldn't consider selling a GameCube game 20 years down the line scalping.
No.
Like you held it for 20 years and you're selling it for you got a return on your investment. Like I don't think scalping is when you buy, say, a special edition. Like we're gonna see it with the Switch 2. People are gonna buy multiple Switch 2s and then flip it right away for double, triple the cost. But reselling is completely different.
Yeah.
And,
The game scalping scene went nuts. You guys all probably remember when. Definitely, Nate, you definitely remember when. PS2. It was the PS2. It went nuts. It was out of control. People were buying them on eBay for a couple $1,000s. It was insane. That's when it all happened. And then every console launch, you had scalpers in line. They did it on the 360. That was a big one. So yeah, I agree. I'm not into that at all.
It's funny because we used to let it launch, and I think part of it is because they were trying to scalp that too. And then 3 days later, it was back in stock and never sold out again. Scalpers lost that one, although the reason they lost it, not so great. Oh man, yeah. I mean, it was we don't even have to go that far back. 2020, 2021.
PS5. People were scalping PS5.
PS5 was gone. You pretty much couldn't buy it if you didn't scalp it unless you got very, very lucky and were online at like 1 a.m. for like the 3 that just arrived at your store to order online to go pick up. Even Switch was selling out, and that was starting to get scalped all over again. Xbox was being scalped, and it was wild for like a year and a half there.
You know what else sold out? Big time. I'm sure you guys remember. I was there in line to get all of these, but the NES Classic Edition and Super Nintendo. Those were nuts. Like I brought employees from work, from the mortgage company I was working at, and we all got into line so we could all get these consoles that we wanted.
Yeah, sure.
Because of course I'm not going to be like, oh no, you can't leave work to go across the street because Best Buy was across the street.
Right.
To go buy these, like I would never do that. Is there director? It's like, of course I want you to
buy them during work.
Yeah, like I don't care. They're like, do we need a clock out? I'm like, no, we'll be back quick. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
this will be fun.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'll go to my sign out here. Look, guys, this is the Nintenbyte Podcast. Usually every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. A little bit later today, we're having some behind the scenes stuff going on with the apps we're using and not being able to schedule on YouTube. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'll hopefully get a hold of someone at customer support and figure it out. That being said, this was episode 17. We got episode 18 coming to you guys next week, potentially with a direct to maybe talk about of some type. We'll see, either one being announced or one having happened. Our guest next week, we have Favlam coming on and Nick with no K coming back. So that should be fun. You know, Favlam always going to bring the energy. So, that's no, hey, they got to shut up, man. I mean, all right, man, let's calm down a bit. And he's like, no, I will not calm down. All right, cool. Especially if there's Pokemon conversations, forget about it. Forget about it. So if it's a Pokemon thing next week, forget about it.
Just tell him that he's bad at Among Us.
He's not the greatest. He's not the greatest at Among Us. He hates me. Sorry. All right. That being said, guys, you guys catch the Nintenbyte Podcast, obviously here on Wednesdays. Audio version everywhere. Audio versions can be heard. We usually get it up literally right after the video version, if not the next day. We have a Nintenbyte Podcast clips channel as well. It's not completely up to date at the time of this episode. Now I got to fumble and move things around because, like, a topic this week, Nintendo Direct next week. Well, that wouldn't make any sense if I drop it after the Nintendo Direct happens. So I got to now move and shift topics around between two different episodes. That's fine. It's just more work for me. Whatever. My slate's not packed at all. I haven't already done 7 live streams this week and made 6 videos. That hasn't happened. That's not a thing going on. I don't also have like a sponsorship thing arriving tomorrow that I also got to somehow find time to do in the next week. Yeah, that's not happening. I'm busy. Oh, my kids aren't like, going back to school, which actually is kind of a relief a bit. But then also the act of getting them to go back to school isn't fun. Yeah. That's all a whole busy thing. So, yeah, fuck. See you guys next week.